I'm cold. I feel naked. Can you even see it? Nuna dropped the video. We tapping in. Parasite actor found dead after 2 women blackmailed him at 19-hour police interrogation. Damn. Okay. First off, hi tribe. How y'all doing? Second off, rest in peace this actor. Parasite? Is that like a movie or something? I feel like I've heard of that. Bada bing, bada boom.
In a prison cell in South Korea, there's these 2 very pretty, very young girls sitting at the edge of their prison beds. They're in the same cell, and they're either going to be very friendly or they're going to rip each other apart by the end of this. There's going to be no middle ground here. So they start feeling each other out. And how old are you?
32.
I'm 95. You?
95?
Side note, in Korea, usually when someone asks you for your age, you give them the year of your birth first. It's interesting, but 95 meaning 1995. So by this point, she would have been,
I'm
what,
99.
maybe 24, 25 when they met?
It's so interesting. Isn't that like more math you have to do?
Yeah.
Right.
I guess they don't really care how old you are. They want to know if you're older and how many years in relation. But then when you give birthdays and dates, it gets confusing, right?
Why not just say your age?
Yeah. Okay. So all they care about the seniority. Like,
Exactly. So if we're both 95, then the next question would be what month? And then it's very quick to decide who's older. The other girl goes, I'm 91, so that means I'm 4 years older than you. I'm your 언니, I guess, which is like an older sister. So what are you in here
You're
for?
my Nuna.
Fraud. You?
언니?
Drugs. These 2 girls, Nami and SJ, would smile at each other. Because this was good. This was very good. They got to planning. They promised each other once they got out, they would get apartments in the same building, just a few floors apart, so that they could always be together. They felt a friendship that was developing. And while they're planning their futures out together, on the other side of the world, Parasite was winning an Academy Award for Best Picture. Standing on stage, feeling on top of the world, would be Lee Sun Kyun. He was an A-list actor in South Korea already, but this is like a new height of his career, a new height of fame. He's internationally known now. But in less than 4 years, he would end up dead. And these 2 girls from prison would have something to do with it.
Today, or interesting. I never seen this dude, never heard of this. She say movie? It had to have been a movie. I don't know, but what did they do to him? Well, based from the title, they blackmailed him, but like blackmailed him with what though?
We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the JED Foundation, a nonprofit that protects emotional health and prevents suicides for our nation's teens and young adults by giving them the skills and supports that they need to thrive today, but also tomorrow. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team of dedicated researchers and translators. We'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates of these causes. Now, as always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. We did have our Korean translators and researchers assist on this case, but I will say that there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of other people involved, conspiracies about why this became such an overblown investigation. There's differing sources on the exact timeline of events. We tried to gather all the accurate facts of the case and compile them in an easy to digest format for you, whilst we try our best to remain neutral. But if there is anything at all that is lost in translation, miscommunicated, or even anything additional that you would like us to know about this case, please let us know down in the comments.
Okay.
And a quick content warning, there is brief mention of suicide in this episode. So if that is something that might bring you to a dark place today, please just take it easy. Skip this one, go watch a comfort show, and stay safe. So with that being said, let's get started.
Warning.
Nami had been out of prison for a while, and everything was working out relatively like she had planned. She's living in the same apartment complex as her best friend, Estray, that she met in prison. She's running her own business that's doing really well.
What's the business?
And then, boom, a text message comes in ready to ruin everything for Nami. An unknown profile on Telegram messages her. The user's name is Nenemtin. Nami has never heard of this username. She has no idea who this is. This person isn't even in her contacts. It's a total stranger. She goes to open the message and it reads, "The stuff on your photo albums." What is this person even talking about?
Right.
So she texts back, "What about my photo albums?" A lot of fucking celebrity photos. Enough to make the nation flip shit, huh? Whoever
What?
this person was, they knew exactly what kind of line of work that Nami was in. So she quickly texts back, unfazed. My goodness, I didn't know we were still living in the past era. I'm feeling under the weather, so I'm just gonna head to sleep now. What an odd exchange. Like, who the hell is this person? Nami's trying so hard to play it cool, but it is bothering her. She immediately screenshots all of the text messages and sends them to her best friend, SJ. And the both of them, they go into detective mode. They're trying to investigate. But this is an account from Telegram, which is anonymous. They have nothing to go off of, but maybe the blackmailer's username. Texting cadence. Any hints in the messages themselves, which are basically none. They barely exchanged messages.
Why is it called blackmail? Not really getting an answer as to why it's called blackmail. The word blackmail is variously derived from the word for mailing. But where does the black part come in? Why is it called blackmail, Chai?
Maybe the blackmailer's username. Texting cadence. Any hints in the messages themselves, which are basically none. They barely exchanged messages so far. So let's start with the name.
Right.
내냄팀. SJ, the friend, immediately screenshots something and sends it to Nami. It's a package of instant noodles. 비빔면, which is like a cold, spicy, stir-fried noodle, but the brand calls that noodle 내냄팀. It's a household brand in South Korea.
So this is just a food brand?
Yeah,
name?
so I guess it would be the same as someone's username being SpaghettiOs. It's a brand by Chef Boyardee.
French fries.
Like, that's the name of their product.
Oh, we
But
need a
it's
brand.
technically, I mean, and I don't know if you would call it spaghetti, but you get the idea. It's very
do.
brand specific.
Right.
So SJ sends Nami a screenshot of the noodle packaging and she says, Nami, young people these days call 비빔면 by the brand's name instead. 내냄팀. Do you think this person messaging you is... And Nami's like, I know exactly who it is. Precisely.
Who?
It's 정다은. So this case is actually... has a lot of very random, bizarre people involved. One of them being Chung Taeun.
Who's that
That's
nigga?
their name, Taeun. Taeun is
Oh.
kind of famous. They're an 얼짱 contestant winner. 얼짱 is literally translates to best face. Like is 얼굴, face, And then 짱 is like the best.
My boss
so
would
they
win
would
that.
have these reality shows, contestant shows, contest shows where they would bring in the best faces from the nation and just basically whoever has the ideal face wins the contest.
Like a beauty contest.
Yes, but it's very face specific. It's not personality. You don't really like answer questions. You don't do the bikini shows. It's all about your face.
Is it like a really prestige title or is it more like
Yeah.
a TV? Oh, it's like a real award.
Well, I wouldn't say it's like Miss America, but it is it's a high compliment to be called an 얼짱. But it's not really something that you have to win through that competition. You could call anyone on the internet an 얼짱.
It's a compliment.
Jimin.
Yes, and they have a very
Jin,
specific look.
V, JK,
It's
RM.
like that perfect
Michael B.
face
Jordan.
look. Like I would say maybe Karina from aespa is the best comparison.
Who is
Like
that?
that is the it look. And Taeun got famous for having a good...
Yeah, hello.
AJ?
Hey, what's up, Jess?
Alright, so Rich had a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it does, but then I have to like when I'm thinking about what day you want to do it, because then I have to prepare mentally.
comparison. Like that is the it look. And Taeun got famous for having a good face.
He got famous
and
for looking
eventually,
pretty?
using that fame, Taeun would start working in
Not
the music
surprising.
industry. But probably what they're the most known for is dating Han Seo-hee. She's going to become very important in this. She is probably one of the most controversial K-pop trainees to ever exist.
Why?
She's been involved in almost every major K-pop idol scandal. The two of them briefly dated, then had a very public and messy breakup where they both accused each other of being physically violent and abusive.
Oh, shit.
Side note about Han Seo-hee, she was involved in Big Bang Top's weed scandal that happened in like 2011. So she's
Yo,
just
look how many mics they got like on
in
that
Big
dude.
Bang Top's weed
Why?
scandal that happened in like 2011.
They need to hear
so
his
she's
heartbreak.
just kind of involved in all the drama.
They need to hear his heartbeat. I try to say they need to hear him breathe. No, they need to hear his heart breathe.
Okay.
Any drama, she's in there somehow.
Okay.
Now, after this breakup between Han Seo-hee, she's going to get questioned later, and Chung Da-eun, they all run in the same circle still. So they all hang out with the same people even after they broke up.
Okay.
And they
Interesting.
hang out with Nami and SJ. Taeun also has a criminal history stemming from selling drugs on Telegram. And this is where the dots start connecting some more. Taeun's Telegram username used to be Japaghetti, which is a brand of black bean noodle. So black bean noodle is the dish.
What it tastes
but
like?
Japaghetti is a very specific noodle brand's version of that dish, and they call it Japaghetti. It's not even black bean noodles, it's the brand's name for it, just as how nenimtin is not spicy cold noodles. It's the brand's name for it.
So that's how she made a connection, because
Yes.
she always uses brand's name as her name.
And Taeun is younger than them, in early 20s, so they're like, okay, young people call 비빔면 nenentim, you know, which older people don't really do that. They also really like to use these brand names for food as their username. And on top of that, the two girls remember that Taeun also had a bit of coding experience. So to them, everything is clicking, everything is making sense. Taeun did this. Taeun hacked into Nami's photo album and got all the pictures of the celebrities and is now blackmailing her because Taeun is the blackmailer.
Oh,
Whoever the spicy cold noodles were, though, they're just getting started. They text Nami some more. You're f***ing ignoring my text? When I see that you've clearly read it, I'll go straight to the celebrities instead then. Get ready to get f***ed. Another text. Make $75,000 by Wednesday, and I'll add in another $8,000 for each day that you're late. I'm not going to ask for more after this. I'm not some sort of gangster. Get all the cash that I want by Wednesday and put it in the fire hydrant in front of your house. Listen to me.
She's
Unless
just
you want to
thuggish
ruin
behavior.
everything
What are you
for everybody
talking
else,
about, like?
don't fuck up everyone else's life. Just fuck up your own. Audio files, videos, photos, I have it all. Your whole place, your whole business, it's going down. The blackmailer starts listing off a little bit of what they know, just a little taste of what's about to come. And this has been redacted from the reports. Redacted, abuse of power. Redacted, drug trafficking. Redacted, drugs. Each one of those redacted names were high-powered people and or celebrities. The last one on that list was an A-list actor in South Korea, internationally acclaimed by playing the rich father from Oscar-winning film Family Man, Lee Sun Kyun.
what was his charge?
The
Like, what did he?
blackmailer texted Nami, tomorrow, I'm gonna start with Lee, so be careful. If you ever see
Damn.
your husband has a strange charge on his card every Friday night for a bakery that you've never even been to before, and you guys are in South Korea, you might want to look into that. There are establishments called room salons, and they can fake receipts to look like bakery receipts, snack shop receipts, or other small business receipts. But in reality,
Seriously?
they're just hostess bars. And Nami was a madam at one of these entertainment establishments. So in Japan, they're hostess bars. In Korea, they're kind of called room salons. There's a little bit of overlap. There's a lot of similarity, but there's some differing points. They're
Like
like
what?
fancy karaoke bars in Korea with private rooms. So the sole purpose is entertaining men. They remind me, again, quite a bit of the Japanese hostess clubs in the sense that you walk in, you get escorted into a private room. Most rooms have the karaoke set up so you can sing, or you can pick hostesses to sing and spend time with you. And a big part of it is de-stressing from this corporate world while you're having someone tending to you and boosting your ego. But that part is the same. But Korean room salons have a few slight differences.
Like what?
Like the fact that they have most of them have a pretty strict no phones rule in the rooms. No phones, which makes everything feel just a bit more intimate, just a bit more private. And Korean room salons, they focus heavily on exclusivity and status symbols. Some clubs, they won't even let you in. You walk in, you're like, I've got $10,000 that I want to blow right now. They're like, sorry, sir, you're not a member, so you can't.
What?
And in
But it's
Korea, if
10
you ever hear
bands.
something called 1차 and 2차, this is what they're referring to. There's two tiers to room salons. 1차 is when you're on the premises, when you're in the club or in the room salon. You can usually flirt, get that emotional connection. Sometimes you could probably fondle the room salon girls, depending on the room salon.
That's such a weird
right?
word.
Depending on the establishment.
It feels wrong.
And then there's something called 2차, which is level 2, second tier. This means that
They give you
after
head
the
or
room
something?
salon date, you go out, usually off the premises, and you go full intimacy.
Oh,
These room salons, they can get really pricey. If
Okay.
you're going to go to a really nice, luxurious one in the center of Gangnam, you can expect to pay around $500 to $1,500 per person per night.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's insane. You have to pay for the room fee, then the food and the drinks, then you have to tip the hostesses. And then there's different leagues of salons. There's a ranking system for the girls at these types of clubs. So you've got the Puchangdong style. Now this style is very overtly. Sometimes the girls you walk in, they're just wearing their undergarments. Then you have the club girls. They're a bit more clothed than just their undergarments, but it's like the next tier up. Then you get higher up, then you have the 15%. This means 15% of the top prettiest girls in room salons. They call it like a 15% club. Wow. Which means you have a certain league of aesthetics in the girls there. Very attractive. They probably will not tolerate touching inside of the store. Then you have the TPs, the 10 pro, which means 10%. 10 pro, yeah. So girls, they look...
Hey, bro, I'm not naive enough to think that we can live in a world where we don't look at each other and gauge how beautiful someone is. Because we all do that. Like, let's keep it honest. As much as it would be so nice to live in a world where we don't judge each other based off of looks, it's naive to believe that it's possible. It's sucky that it's accepted so much.
The 10 pro, which means 10%. 10 pro, yeah. So girls, they look like celebrities. They're usually very educated. And if you're filthy rich, you could even sponsor one of the girls to be like, I don't know, your girlfriend, your side girlfriend. Now, side note, it does seem like a few celebrities have been seen frequenting these room salons, and I know it's a really controversial topic, but some netizens say that there might be a reason why celebrities might like these room salons more than the average civilian.
Why?
The no phones rule, that might ease some of their anxiety of always feeling like they're going to be filmed by other people when they're in establishments, that other parties, not even in the room that they're in, are filming them. Like, they're just trying to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And perhaps to some of the older generations of celebrities, it's purely just habit. Apparently back then, if you wanted to land a role in a movie, you would have to shake hands with the director in a room salon. It was so prevalent that when a new up-and-coming director came out and started his own production company, he was this close to naming it NRS.
What does that mean? National Rifles?
Because he hated it so much. He was like, this is a part of the industry that I wish would just die off. I hate it. Like, that's how strong and prevalent it was.
So it is very deep-rooted in the
celebrity culture.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I think it starts when you don't really have a choice. You just have to go. And the one in question today is dubbed a 1% room salon in Gangnam,
1%?
meaning they only offer memberships. You cannot step in there and book a private room unless you're a member, even if you have the money, which adds to the exclusivity and the discretion of the business. Only the top 1% can afford this room salon. And it's speculated that a few hours in this type of club with 3 to 4 people in a private room, that's about $6,000 to $8,000. And because of how expensive the barrier of entry is, less people would go, and it might honestly make a great place for celebrities to feel like they're getting away. I'm not recommending it. I'm not saying that they should, but I can maybe kind of see why. The barrier for entry is so high. Maybe it feels like it's more secretive and not many people are going to out you and talk about it and post and like little sneaky pictures of you online. And you can finally just have some fun. Nami runs one of those, a 1% club in Gangnam. But there's a give and take in place for room salon madams and their high profile customers. I don't want to say clientele because that makes it sound like they're buying intimacy. Right? That's not what I'm insinuating at all. But just, you know, customers, patrons of an establishment. Discretion. You get paid to not talk about what you see. Once that trust is broken, nobody's going to want to visit Nami's business ever again. Facts. And this blackmailer is going to ruin her entire career. Even if Nami gives the blackmailer the money, who's to say that they're going to stop there? What if they keep going? What if they keep coming back for more money? It's never going to end.
So...
Another message from the Noodle Telegram account comes in.
Hey, that was good. Sound effects. I like that. Boom. Oh, it wasn't on time. Editor, make it more on time. Thank you very much. Oh my God. Tribe, just to let y'all know, when I look over to, what would my left be for y'all? When I look up, when I look over to the left, it's because I'm looking at my sound situation. So don't think I'm not paying attention. I'm still locked in. I'm just making sure I'm not yelling in your ear, and the video that we watch is not yelling in your ear.
Ding. Bring. Another message from the Noodle Telegram account comes in. Do as I say unless you want to ruin someone else's life.
I like that
I don't
word.
think you know
noodle.
the situation that you're in right now.
Noodle.
If you ignore me again today, I'm going to reach out to your mom. Nami sent more screenshots of these conversations to SJ, her best friend. And SJ's just trying to warn Nami, like, don't piss off the hackers. Don't piss off the blackmailers.
My mom.
Just figure out what exactly they know. Like, what in your photo albums? She texts, don't turn them all into enemies, Nami. Nami's hot-headed, though. She texts back, yeah, well, I'm not going to give them a freaking penny.
Facts.
Just find out what they have on you first. Hear them out. SJ tries to comfort her best friend, Nami. I mean, even if they know you're doing drugs, they can't touch any of your celebrity friends like Lee Sun Kyun, you know? The Parasite actor. How are they going to touch him? Yeah, I guess that's true. But I had an idea. Should I just tell Lee Sun Kyun, Lee? Just tell him that I've been hacked and that I'm being blackmailed into giving them $500,000?
Wait, so she's about to blackmail the actor?
Yeah.
While being blackmailed?
She's being blackmailed for $75,000 and she's going to go turn around to the Parasite actor and say, hey, Lee, I need $500,000. Otherwise, people at the press are going to know.
Hey, wait. Oh, but is this what led him to, like, you know what I'm saying, pass away? I don't want to laugh at that. But that is a big brain move.
I need $500,000. Otherwise, people at the press are going to know that we hang out. Do you want to be seen with the madam of a room salon?
That's crazy.
When you have a wife and 2 children? Is that what you want?
What?
So Nami has this brilliant idea of playing both sides. She would lie to the blackmailer and get money from Lee. Then she would lie to Lee and say that she was going to give the money to the blackmailer, but neither of those things were going to happen. It's not even like she wants to take the $500K, give $75K to the blackmailer, and then keep the rest.
All of it, bro.
She wants to keep it all.
What a greedy human.
She's like, I'm just going to screw both of them because whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. She shares her bright idea with her best friend SJ, and she texts, I'm just going to play Lee. Should I do this? No, you shouldn't. Because Nami, if you don't give money to the blackmailer, what happens to Lee Oppa who actually gave you the money? And Nami just responds, oh, well, he'll just be a fucking R-word. Nami starts texting Lee Sun Kyun,
What is the R-word?
stating that she's being blackmailed and her phone was hacked. And
What is the R-word? Why don't I think of rice? Come on, bro.
Lee stating that she's being blackmailed and her phone was hacked and the press is going to find out that he's basically having an affair with her, if you will. He has an actress wife that he's been with for over a decade. So much of his image in the public arena is being part of the perfect family. They're kind of the it couple. They're like a middle-aged but it couple. They're both at their prime. I mean, they share 2 beautiful children together. But now the blackmailer knows that Lee, the perfect family man, has been spending some time with Nami, the madam of a room salon, in her private residence. And for that information, Nami's like, okay, you know what, Oppa, I negotiated and I got it down from 500,000 to 250,000. So I'm gonna need 250,000. Nami starts texting Lee. Okay, Oppa, I have to make a choice now. First things first, Oppa, you need to live. Even if something happens to me, you have to live. That's why I'm telling you all these things about what's going on when it would be better for me if I don't tell you. I asked around and there's a lot of people who have lost everything because they didn't comply with these types of threats from blackmailers. If we ignore this person and they go to the media about this, you and me, we're all done for. Like, not saying this relationship is done for, but she's insinuating our lives, our careers are done for. Just trust me this once and comply with the demands of $250,000 and I will make sure nothing incriminating about you gets out. I'm going to turn myself in today for questioning because they're saying that they're going to go to the police about my drug reports. Do you think that they're going to run forensics on my phone? Nami continues trying to get $250,000 out of Lee. Also, those people will not come back once we give them the $250,000. They told me that they have no reason to come back and ask for more money. But right now, if I ignore them and you ignore them, I mean, it could go to the press. Then at that point, both of our lives would be over. And like, I mean, just trust me. I'm going to take care of this situation so cleanly. Just trust me.
No, I'm not trusting you.
Nami tries to soften the situation by saying things like, Sai, the world really has gone crazy these days. Cry face. Don't worry too much, though. Lee texts back, okay. She texts, I'll call you later during the day. Life is so hard. Are you available to talk during the day? I'll call you later. Lee gets her the money, $250,000 in cash. But he was very clearly hesitant. You can tell from the text messages. He doesn't know if this is the route that he wants to take. So he's not like, oh yeah, take the money. We got to make sure this never gets out. He's
two things, two very, very short things, and we will continue. First thing, if I'm married for 10 years, bruh, that's it. 250 pounds? I ain't gonna lie, bro. Whatever it is that I did is just gonna have to come out, bro. I ain't gonna cat to you. I'm not spending no 250 bands to keep some shit secret.
The cash gets delivered to Nami, who promises Lee that she's gonna give it to the blackmailer, who will then shut up about the whole thing and they'll be over it. But instead, Nami takes the money and goes on the run. She stops responding to everyone. She ghosts everyone. The blackmailer, Lee, even SJ, her best friend. She ghosts them all for $250,000. And so now the blackmailer is pissed. And the blackmailer is coming after SJ, sending messages. Nenemtin is reaching out to SJ on Telegram, Nami's best friend, threatening to ruin SJ's life unless you can get your best friend Nami to come back with my money. SJ starts sending desperate messages to Nami. Where are you, Nami? This is insane. You can't do this to me. I'm never going to see you again. Don't ever talk to me ever again if this is how you're going to be. Don't even reach out. Nami finally responds, I'll call you soon. Call me before noon today. Noon comes and passes. SJ texts again. Are you calling me soon, Nami? Please help me understand, because if this is what I think it is, I will forever disappear from your life. I think the cops are trying to come to my house. I have to verify it's the cops, but I don't know. So please, Nenen team keeps contacting me. If they reach out to me one more time, I'm going to report them to the police. Don't try to get me to understand your side then. Do it now. If not, I never want to see you again. Ever.
What did Nami say?
Nami finally responds. Stop contacting my friends and acquaintances asking where I am. And I'm sorry. I wronged you in all of this, okay? I'm sorry.
What?
Because now it's on SJ. Now the pressure's on SJ. Get me my money.
So she really just, Nami took $250K and that's
Dipped,
it?
yeah.
Dipped?
That's her exit?
Yeah.
What?
Was it
SJ
250K?
Yeah, well,
in English money?
don't worry. I will have no reason to ever reach out to you again.
Damn.
Nami says, let me just clean this up, okay? Let me clean up the mess and then I'll reach out to you. Don't forget to eat. Like, it's like don't forget to, like, don't skip meals. It's a very enduring term, which is bizarre in this moment. But how is SJ just gonna wait for Nami to clean this mess up when SJ's life is on the line too?
It's like if I beat the shit out you and then say, hey, don't forget to go to the hospital. Like, what? That doesn't do anything for me, bro.
But how is SJ just gonna wait for Nami to clean this mess up when SJ's life is on the line too? SJ and a man by the name of Samuel walk into the Incheon Police Department with 30 pieces of black hair in a clear baggie and a very bizarre story.
What the fuck?
I'd like to report a drug crime. Samuel, the man that's accompanying SJ, tells the police that his girlfriend got a job at a room salon, and the manager there, the madam if you will, got her intentionally hooked on drugs. He said that he did absolutely everything to get her off these drugs, but she just wouldn't quit. So he suspected the madam is keeping her addicted for the purpose of the business. Because he can't convince his own girlfriend to get off the drugs, he decided to go to the source of the drugs. He goes to the madam of the business and tells her, hey, if you don't quit supplying my girlfriend with drugs, I'm going to report you to the police.
And she took a whip and smacked him with it. No, not like a slave whip, like a dominatrix whip. She took a dominatrix whip and smacked him with it.
Hey, if you don't quit supplying my girlfriend with drugs, I'm gonna report you to the police.
W boyfriend in
He
the
was so
chat.
shocked because she just sat there and said, how much money do you want?
Oh shit.
That was not what he was after. He
Right.
doesn't want money. He just wants his girlfriend to be safe.
W boyfriend in the
The
chat.
police are like, okay, kind of a wild story. So what is SJ doing here?
What?
SJ hands over the bag of hairs. This is Nami's best friend. She hands over screenshots of text messages. The woman that got Samuel's girlfriend hooked on drugs is my best friend, Nami. She's the madam of a very famous room salon, and she provides drugs for celebrities.
Damn.
SJ was so annoyed at Nami for leaving her like that. But also, SJ was so mad at Nami, mainly for not giving her her share. All SJ wanted was $75,000. But
What? I didn't know SJ wanted a cut too. Dang.
Share. All SJ wanted was $75,000, but Nami got $250,000 and left. Now what? All that work creating a blackmail account, I mean, it can't go to waste, right?
SJ did it all?
What? Oh, snap. Yo, this like a movie. What? SJ was the blackmailer? You know what Scooby-Doo taught me? It's really the folks that... No, wait. That's not Scooby-Doo. It's the folks closest to you. I'm trying to tell you. The folks closest to you sometimes be your worst enemies. Good thing I ain't got friends. I got tribe members.
I mean, it can't go to waste, right?
SJ did it all?
SJ is the original blackmailer.
What?
I know.
Because Nami would tell her all these wild stories and send her pictures of all the celebrities that she would meet at her room salon. And now SJ is like, oh, you know what? I need some money, so I'm going to blackmail my best friend.
SJ on timing.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
No, she's not.
And Nami has no idea.
No.
L
She's
friend.
going to find out, but as of right now, no. She thinks it's Taun.
But they're both so f***ed up too. The
Right.
level of evilness just keep on going.
Yeah.
Like
It
one
keeps
crime,
on
they
rising.
follow up with another, with something even worse and worse and worse.
It's like they're willing to commit the crimes, but they're also willing to do it to the people that they're supposed to love the most.
Right.
And like be the closest to. It's really
Yeah.
bizarre. They have no moral standing, and a lot of netizens argue which one is worse between the two.
I was just
It's really
talking
hard
to
to
the
decide.
tribe about that.
Because it's just both so uniquely evil. It's just so bizarre. So now after
Bro, she lives in the same house as her. Like, I mean, not really, but they live in the same apartment building. Like, they made plans and everything to take over the world after prison. And this is how? That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that is crazy.
So now, after reporting Nami, SJ texts Mr. Kim. Again, this is the Parasite actor's close friend, the one that also knows Nami. And he's also the one that loaned the cash. Remember?
Oh, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Kim.
Yes.
So SJ
250
contacted
bands?
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Mr. Kim already gave $250,000 to Nami.
Yes.
SJ reaches out to him, trying to get more money out of him because Nami ran away. SJ basically reaches out and is like, hi, I'm the original blackmailer. Nami took the freaking money and ran, so I'm gonna need you guys to give me my cut. Pay me my money. I never got paid, so the blackmail threats are still active. But Mr. Kim just responds to Nenemtin. There's no response from our side because giving more money, I mean, it seems like this side has given up. Like, we've given up. Do you really think that we will believe that this will ever end? Even if you say this is it and that Nami took the rest of the money and ran. Honestly, I don't know. We don't know what to believe. And I'm just in the middle trying to keep this under wraps. I even sent my own money too. Geez, I mean, I think the best way to resolve all of this is if we all meet up together, sign some sort of contract. Otherwise, no deal with more money. So he's like, we need to get together and sign some documents if you want any cash at all. Like a document saying that you will never bring this up, like you are bound by, I don't know, an NDA or something.
I was about to
because
say,
this is
I
just
was about to
crazy.
say
You can't
DNA.
just keep asking us for more money. Mr. Kim goes, or we can just go the legal route because this is extortion. Honestly, I don't get any of this. Even with that amount of money, 250K, Nami will last maybe 5 years. So why are we even doing stuff like this right now? But SJ is very desperate. She keeps messaging him, almost pitching herself like she's on Shark Tank. Sir, let's do the original agreed upon deal of $75,000. I really need the money, and you can see if I will ever threaten you guys ever again, I will disappear with the money. I will stop looking for Nami. If this ever gets out to the world, I will take full responsibility for it because there's really no need for that to get everybody involved. I just really need the money tomorrow, right away.
Wait, is she telling them that she was the original blackmailer?
Yeah, but she's not saying she's SJ. She's messaging them through Nenentim, the noodle account.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Now, the messages are written really polite. It's actually kind of odd. She's blackmailing them, but it sounds more like she's a distant relative asking for a loan.
Can
But
I
when
see?
Mr. Kim doesn't budge and give her what she wants, she fully lashes out. She texts, first of all, I didn't know Nami was going to take the money and run. I didn't know that she was going to eat all the money and f***ing explode. So, like, is that really my fault? Mr. Kim says, regardless, I'll have to pass on this deal. Okay, fine. Then I'll continue bothering people around you guys.
I'm so sorry.
Besides, today, I will give you a deal. Remember how I was asking for $150,000? Today, let's make it $40,000. How about that?
I thought she was about to say 400
You should probably
bands.
take the deal with this kind of cut. Try standing in my shoes for once, sir. Mr. Kim makes a deal, and the blackmailer tells him that he will send an assistant to grab the money. That assistant is SJ. Yeah.
What?
So she texts him on her little noodle account, I'm going to send my assistant to grab the cash from you in the parking lot. And guess who shows up? SJ.
What?
But Mr. Kim is like, oh, that's probably just the assistant for the blackmailer.
Oh, he doesn't know SJ.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a whole thing.
Okay,
Ultimately,
that makes sense.
SJ gets $40,000 in cash in the parking lot of a grilled eel restaurant in Gangnam. And just to recap, SJ is the original noodle blackmailer.
Right.
She was texting Nami about the blackmail threats. Like, she has no idea what's going on. So she's Nami's blackmailer and her best friend giving her advice on what to do with the blackmailer.
Crazy.
That's why she's saying, like, no, don't play Lee. Like, don't do that. Don't run off with the money. Don't make enemies. Just see what they want. She ends up getting $40,000 from Lee. Nami, the madam of the business, ends up getting blackmailed, but plays Lee and runs off with $250,000. And it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to be issued a passport. Nami was a few days in when she was caught by the police. Police had records that she applied for a passport and a visa, planning to flee the country. But flower snakes are known not to travel that fast. That's what people call Nami, a flower snake, a 꽃뱀. That's what we call them. Okay, so a flower snake is the Korean version of a gold digger, but it's actually a lot more scathing than a gold digger. Gold digger is like, okay, I don't know how offended I'd be if I was called a gold digger.
Snake?
But a flower snake, it's such a ruthless term. It's a woman who waits in the gardens like a little snake near all the beautiful flowers, just waiting for someone close to come by. They slither towards their next victim, seduce them, and then ask them for money in return for their silence. So it's not even someone that wants to date someone with money. It's more so, I'm going to literally sleep with that person. Someone that I know shouldn't be sleeping with me, whether it's a married man, a company executive, someone that would be in trouble if the world found out that they slept with me. And immediately afterwards, I'm going to ask them for money in return for my silence.
I see.
That's
It's like
messed up.
blackmailing. They're literally blackmailers.
Yeah, that's literally blackmail. Hey, bro, you'll never catch me in that situation. Like, what?
I used to think that.
I don't simply. I'm gonna wash your ass, Stephanie, purely because you give me money, so it's only right. If this dude was an actor in the US, it wouldn't even affect his career, really. Especially since he's of the caucus color. I'm just keeping it honest, bro. Yeah, he would have been straight after like 2 weeks. The news cycle would have been refreshed. Everybody would have forgot about it. See, like outside the country, they place a lot of big emphasis on like idols and entertainers, bro. And anything you do wrong is up.
October 18th, 2023, the day after SJ reported her, Nami was arrested for suspicion of drug use in her room salon. She was under suspicion of using phyllophon, which it's known as
Shorty was using crystal meth?
or Satan's mucus in South
Hell
Korea.
yeah.
It's crystal meth. Side note, this very
That shit
specific
runs
kind was
rampant
created in Japan during World War II to give soldiers, to make them more stimulated during the war so that they could fight harder and longer.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's become a huge recreational drug.
It hit the streets of. Whoa, I sound like a narrator. I ain't gonna cat to you, bro. I remember when that shit got introduced to like my neighborhood, bro. That's crazy. Niggas in Miami was like, bro, you heard of that new shit? They call it Satan's boogers. That ass. I'm not even kidding. They call it SB down there for Satan's boogers. That shit was fucking people up. I'm not gonna cat to you. That shit was dangerous.
It's become a huge recreational drug issue in East Asia now. So Nami was arrested, brought in to be questioned. She's drug tested. It comes back positive for psychotropic substances. But that's a huge range. I'm just going to be honest with you. That could include caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, and even certain pain meds, but also heroin, LSD, cocaine, and crystal meth.
Right.
So there's that. At this point, the police have testimonies from 2 people that Nami is not only doing drugs, but selling drugs. So from SJ and Samuel. They're like, yeah, she's selling drugs, she's doing drugs. And South Korea is a country that's super strict on drugs.
I see that.
So Nami is a slam dunk.
I can't spark up a blood over there.
But nothing is impressive about catching a flower snake.
If I go to South Korea and spark up a blunt, would they be like, hey? Or would they be like, no, you're dying? Which one is it, bro? If I go to North Korea and do that, you're dying. You're definitely dying in North Korea if you spark up a blunt over there. If you walk up to Kim Jong-un, hey, you want to hit this? Nah, you're dead. You're actually dead.
South Korea is a country that's super strict on drugs. So Nami is a slam dunk case, right? For the police?
Yeah.
But nothing is impressive about catching a flower snake. You don't get a pat on the back for catching a flower snake. You don't get an award. You don't get a promotion for catching a flower snake, especially if that flower snake has 6 prior drug convictions. What's so great about the 7th drug conviction? If anything, it's almost insulting. A 7th time, really? You couldn't catch her again, like the 7th time? The police didn't want...
Yellow.
I know this is gonna hurt you as much as it hurts me, but
You don't get a promotion for catching a flower snake, especially if that flower snake has 6 prior drug convictions. What's so great about the 7th drug conviction?
You can
if
arrest
anything,
snakes.
It's almost insulting. A 7th time, really? You couldn't catch her again, like the 7th time? The police didn't want a flower snake. They wanted to take down a napping alligator in the grass. And the only thing is, you're more likely to be killed from a snake than an alligator, statistically.
Yeah, that's
October
actually true.
19th, 2023, just 3
Also, that's
hours
not impressive.
after Nami's very first...
And taking down a snake, and a awake snake, is much more impressive than taking down a napping alligator. I ain't gonna lie, you could low-key take down an active alligator. They're not that hard. You just gotta come from behind and make sure you clamp them jaws down. Cause when they twist, that's never a good thing. It's always bad.
October 19th, 2023, just 3 hours after Nami's very first interrogation finishes, an exclusive article is published online about an unnamed gigantic A-list actor going by the name of Mr. L that is now part of a huge drug investigation. It's very cryptic. I mean, so cryptic to the point of being uninteresting. Even if we can guess Mr. L stands for Mr. Lee, it could be Mr. Lim, it could even be Mr. Park. Who's to say that the L is the first letter of the actor's surname? That's still a huge population of people to go through. The last name Lee in South Korea is the 2nd most popular after Kim. About 15% of the population share the last name Lee. So
really? Why is
who's
that?
gonna know who this actor is? But very quickly, almost suspiciously quickly, rumors start spreading online that it's Lee Sun Kyun. Everyone's confused. How would anyone know that it's him, especially given the circumstances? Lee Sun Kyun is not even someone that the general public would assume would do drugs. He's 48. He's got a wife, respected actress of a wife, 2 children. He doesn't really fit this young club scene. The man just golfs. When he goes on to variety shows, reality shows, all he talks about is his love for his kids and golf. Like he's obsessed with golf.
Golf
The
is
reporter
fire,
would
though.
eventually come out to state that the police gave them the name. Just exposed the fact that Lee was involved in an open drug investigation. And the media ran with it. They dropped article after article after article that Lee was accused of cheating on his wife at a room salon and taking drugs with the girls there. And everybody lost their freaking minds. They went genuinely crazy. Truly, the press, they're having a field day. They're calling this the mini Burning Sun scandal. Because it had 2 of the biggest names in the Korean entertainment industry attached to it. Parasite actor Lee Sun Kyun and G-Dragon of Big Bang. Originally, G-Dragon would be the bigger focus of the media. People were going in and overanalyzing every single video of G-Dragon. They were looking for any strange body movements, unfocused eyes.
The amount of times I've seen this nigga Dave mentioned in my comments, bro. Who is G-Dragon for real, for real? Apparently he part of the Bang Bang. The Bang Bang? Big Bang. Big Bang. He's part of Big Bang? Is he part of Big Bang?
Dragon would be the bigger focus of the media. People were going in and overanalyzing every single video of G-Dragon. They were looking for any strange body movements, unfocused eyes, slurred speech, anything that could indicate that he was a drug user. People were saying, oh, well, Top from Big Bang was busted for weed usage. Seungri from Burning Sun, right? And then now G-Dragon? We knew it. We knew it all along. There's a video of G-Dragon at the airport taken by paparazzi that became one of the trending videos associated with this case. It shows him walking through the airport while paparazzi follow him around taking pictures and videos, and he can't seem to stay still. He's touching his face, he's touching his hair, readjusting his clothing, he's stretching, which, side note, I saw the video, and I do think that he strikes me as maybe a little bit more active with his movements than I would normally expect walking through the airport, but there's so much context to this. First of all, we don't know if he has any sort of health condition that could lead to something like that, but also even if he doesn't, he's a celebrity in South Korea. His every move, his every look, facial expression, breath is going to get analyzed and dissected regardless of a drug scandal or
That's
not.
what I'm saying.
And as he's walking through the airport with paparazzi, like, it's just so awkward. Nobody's really talking to him. They're just like following him around.
Just looking at him.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would maybe move around.
I ain't gonna Nah, bro. Why is some part of me saying, just get naked? Like, I'm the type of nigga to start fucking with the paparazzi, because it's like, bro, y'all niggas don't think that that's weird? Y'all dedicated time to come take pictures of me. Go take a flight. Like, hey, bro, that's none of my business, bro. That's their job. You know what I'm saying?
Or not. And as he's walking through the airport with paparazzi, like, it's just so awkward.
So awkward.
Nobody's really talking to him. They're just like following him around. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would maybe move around and fidget and try to I would feel insecure. I would constantly fix my hair. Maybe I have a scratch, and then I would try to adjust my clothing because they're taking pictures, and I know these pictures are going to be front page somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I can't imagine that's a pleasant, non-anxious,
I wouldn't accuse him of drug usage, bro.
But the comments started getting flooded after G-Dragon was revealed to be part of the room salon drug investigation. They were ruthless. Netizens wrote, haha, so it's true. They say addicts pretend to stretch because they can't keep their bodies still. I'd be more surprised if he wasn't on drugs. This guy's a drug addict. Look at him shaking like a dog. Let's pretend we're all surprised, you guys. He really paved the way for criminals. He's the king of the drugs.
Damn.
He really looks like the type to do crap anyway. G-Dragon came out with a statement and basically begged the police to test him. He stated to the public that he would be voluntarily submitting his own urine, hair, fingernail, and toenail samples to be tested for drug usage.
Nigga might as well pee.
This was kind of a
no, he did. Oh, shit. He did submit his piss. That's crazy.
This was kind of a pivotal moment in the Korean entertainment industry. A lot of netizens have stated this is going to change probably society's perception of these investigations. Because G-Dragon shows up at the police station with press waiting for him outside the station. This is his very first interrogation. Voluntary. He's going to submit all of his samples. The press, they're foaming at the mouth to get him to do something, say something, get arrested, anything. G-Dragon shows up in a full suit, black glasses, and he does not bow to the press, which is a huge thing for Korean celebrities. If you do not bow to the press, that means you think that you're God or something. How dare you? These are the people that made you famous.
His mannerisms is interesting to me.
For Korean celebrities. If you do not bow to the press, that means you think that you're God or something.
Why he smiling like that?
Korean celebrities. If you do not bow to the press, that means you think that you're God or something. How dare you? These are the people that made you famous. This was significant. This was him showing the press that he was not going to get bullied by them. He does not bow, and before he goes in to be questioned by the police, G-Dragon answers a few questions from the press. They ask, why are you making a voluntary appearance for police questioning? He looks at them, and he does this between every single question. He looks at them like they're not even the same species. He looks at them like they're insane. They're unhinged. Like, why did you just ask me that? He says, I'll know when I get inside. Do you admit to charges that you've used drugs? I have not committed any crime regarding drugs. I'm appearing for questioning to clarify all allegations made. It's best to answer any questions authorities may have as quickly as possible.
Okay, I understand that he's like in this situation and whatnot, but his face is pissing me off. His face is making me mad. Why?
For questioning to clarify all allegations made. It's best to answer any questions authorities may have as quickly as possible, so I should probably not prolong these conversations right now. You've rejected the charges against you. Does that mean you think the investigation by the police is unfounded? Even the press question here is so bizarre. It's like they want him to badmouth the police outside the police station and put himself in a situation where the police are going to want to ruin his life even more.
Like what?
G-Dragon looks more bored than anything, and he just states, everything will come to light in due course. Then the press start hinting at the idea that G-Dragon dyed his hair to throw off the hair drug test results. When did you dye your hair, and do you have hair loss problems? I did not do anything like that.
Okay, but the press will piss me off, though.
Did you ever frequent the entertainment establishment that's been mentioned?
Yeah, the press will make me mad.
We'll have to see about that.
G-Dragon,
do you know the establishment's manager or the doctor who's been accused of providing the drugs?
G-Dragon's facial expressions might be warranted. The press is pissing me off, and I'm just listening to the questions. I'm not even hearing them niggas speak this bullshit. Couldn't be no celebrity, bro, because I wouldn't accept dumbass questions. I really, what is you talking about, nigga?
When did you dye your hair, and do you have hair loss problems? I did not do anything like that. Did you ever frequent the entertainment establishment that's been mentioned? We'll have to see about that. Do you know the establishment's manager or the doctor who's been accused of providing the drugs? No. Can I go now? And do you want to say something to your fans? Which, this is the absolute worst time to bring something like this up. I mean, it's just kind of gross. What do you want him to say? He wants to prove that he's not guilty by going in there, and this is a police investigation. Like, what do you mean, do you want to say something to your fans right now?
Yeah.
G-Dragon literally takes like a full minute to look at him like he's out of his mind, and he starts smirking, and he's just flabbergasted, and he says, "Don't worry too much. Can I go now?"
Okay, G-Dragon, my fault. Your facial
Side note,
expressions
his body
are warranted.
movements are exactly the same here as when he was at the airport.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Once G-Dragon gets out of police questioning, he was in there for 4 hours. Even more press is waiting for him. He stops to answer questions, and not necessarily because he wants to, but more so as a formality. But the press ask him some very strange things.
Like?
One of them asks, "You claimed innocence before you went in there. Do you still stick by that stance?"
Well, no, now I'm guilty, nigga.
He responds, "Wouldn't it be wrong if I changed my position?"
Right?
What was the result of the urine test? It came out negative. From now on, I hope the authorities will carry out an accurate and swift probe that will resolve this matter.
Negative indeed.
Are you willing to accept future summons by the police to be questioned if they ask you to come?
No.
If they call me, I would have to come, no?
Yeah, that's true.
Bro, what kind of question is that?
Yeah. He responds, "Wouldn't it be wrong if I changed my position?" What was the result of the urine test? It came out negative. From now on, I hope the authorities will carry out an accurate and swift probe that will resolve this matter. Are you willing to accept future summons by the police to be questioned if they ask you to come?
It's not really a
they call me, I would
voluntarily.
have to
Yeah,
come,
like what these
Bro,
questions?
what kind of question is that?
Yeah.
Speak on it,
It's
husband
almost
Mako.
like, just tell us you did it. It's almost
Yeah.
like that kind of tone.
Yeah,
Like, what are you talking
Just tell us you'll never listen to the police and you don't want to cooperate. Like,
about? Yeah.
what?
I don't understand.
He literally looks at the press like they're crazy. In today's probe, did the police show you any evidence related to the allegations raised against you?
Why would the police do
no,
that?
they didn't. I just hope no more energy is spent on unverified matters. You were questioned for 4 hours. What are the areas that the police focused on? We just laughed a lot and then we ended it. Could you please repeat that? We just laughed. You guys laughed. That was a joke. The fact that I'm being investigated on such a matter, what can I say? The police, too, will have to make a decision based on my testimony if my words are of help to their ongoing probe or not. What I want, if possible, is just the swift announcement of the detailed drug test lab results from my hair and fingernails. What do you expect the test results to be?
Don't forget the toenails.
Of course, it'll come out negative. Once again, I have never administered drugs or given them to anyone. A lot of people are watching. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Your breath smell like onion.
Yes, a lot of people are watching right now. So I would just say there's no need to worry too much. I hope they'll trust me and wait. Thank you. That's all. He does a very brief bow and heads back to his car.
믿고 기다리셨으면 기다려 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 네, 알겠습니다.
G-Dragon's test results will all come back negative. And he would post on Instagram.
Hey, he's lit on vengeance. Nah, the way he was smiling was pissing me off, but I see that it's more like, yeah, niggas is stupidish. okay. All right, G-Dragon, you have redeemed yourself in my irrelevant eyes. I got 3 of them.
What do you expect the test results to be? Of course, it'll come out negative. Once again, I've never administered drugs or given them to anyone. A lot of people are watching. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
These dumbass questions.
Yes, a lot of people are watching right now.
I ain't gonna lie, my face would be the
I would
same,
just say
G-Dragon.
there's no need to worry too much. I hope they'll trust me and wait. Thank you. That's all. He does a very brief bow and heads back to his car.
믿고 기다리셨으면 기다려 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
I like your shoes, bro. Thick ass suit. 2006 NBA draft. Looking ass nigga.
G-Dragon's test results will all come back negative. And he would
That's
post
too
on
fire, though.
Instagram.
I'm not even
"Type
roasting
peak
it. That's
peak
actually a
down,"
fire
which means
suit.
everything will always fall back into the right pattern, almost like karma. It's used frequently in settings when someone gets accused of doing something that they didn't do. So they're being attacked, but it's almost a feeling of just wait, because the truth will settle in and everyone will realize what's been happening. G-Dragon's black glasses that he
fire.
wore during the public probe, the police probe, were $1,000, limited edition, and they reportedly sold out immediately after his drug test came back negative. According to Dispatch, so take this how you will, but according to Dispatch, G-Dragon visited Nami's room salon at least.
That's so random. Like, why did everybody decide to buy it?
And they reportedly sold out immediately after his drug test came back negative. According to Dispatch, so take this how you will, but according to Dispatch, G-Dragon visited Nami's room salon at least twice in 2023. It was something that she would allegedly not shut up about and was nonstop bragging about it. Allegedly, she would even sneak videos of G-Dragon while he was going to use the restroom. Not in the restroom, but like when he would walk up from the room and leave to go use the restroom, she would sneak videos and send it to her
I
friends.
was just about to ask
She
what
would text them things like, "GD came to visit me again." But later to the police, Nami would state, every time GD went to the restroom, he would get up and use the restroom, G-Dragon would come back looking very strange. Once I was very curious as to why, so I slipped into the bathroom and I saw some very suspicious packaging there. That's why he was called in for this probe. That is so vague.
Right.
That's
Suspicious
the end?
packaging.
That's the end.
What,
That's like why he got involved in all of this.
What did she see?
Suspicious packaging.
Right, but what
I don't
is
know if
the-
that means
Like,
like
what
a,
does that mean,
like a
you know?
tiny little clear plastic bag of white powder. I don't know what it means. It could be a Toblerone bar packaging. I don't know. Suspicious packaging.
Wow, that's not enough.
Yeah. That is so vague, and coming from someone with 6 prior convictions and affinity for blackmailing people for hundreds of thousands of dollars, someone that is proven to only be out for their own skin and would even
Yeah.
exaggerate stories to their friends to appear a certain way, it feels completely unfounded and not credible. But the
Yeah.
police would state that G-Dragon was a drug suspect from that statement. And just to clarify, these are just allegations that he would visit Nami. We don't know if he for sure did. And
Right.
even if he did go, that's not against the law. What does that have to do with drugs? But even with all of this going on, there was still an article that was posted titled, "Hair Removal All Over the Body." The article alleged G-Dragon shaved all his body hair and bleached his head hair, to which his attorney made another statement. G-Dragon has not removed his hair at all since it was reported that he was booked. He voluntarily submitted his hair, fingernails, and toenails to prove his innocence as quickly as possible.
Urine?
Again, all test results came back negative. Even
Yeah.
the National Forensic Service would confirm that G-Dragon did not dye or bleach his hair recently. But in this case, there is no such thing as innocent till proven guilty.
It really feels like a witch hunt. Like
Yeah,
they
they're
just
trying to
wanted
find-
a
yeah.
name to explode in the news. And
But aren't you curious as to why? January of last year, there was a huge drug bust in South Korea. It was blasted all over the news. The police found a drug trafficking ring where a group of individuals were growing, using, and selling marijuana. The police were so proud of themselves. Officers are getting promoted left and right because of that drug bust. There were talks about how advanced the police were getting at tracking drug users, how competent they were becoming.
But it's just
But
gas.
there's actually a secret behind this brilliant police bust.
What?
The police received a tip. That's it. So simple, right? So at first, the tip was from a woman who was begging the police for help to avoid her violent boyfriend. She told authorities that she overheard the boyfriend's plans to sell her into sex trafficking. The police are like, yeah, well, we don't really have time for that. First of all, he's your boyfriend. Second of all, you haven't been sold, have you? And third of all, we don't have proof that that's what he genuinely wants.
Whoa, what the fuck? Hold on. Why is the first of all he's your boyfriend? First of all, what the fuck? Is that really how they would respond in South Korea, bro? Because that's alarming, my nigga. What you mean, first of all, he's your boyfriend? How about, first of all, you're a human fucking being and one of your intrinsic rights is to not get sold? Hello? Like, second off, you haven't been sold, have you? Is crazy. like what? So if she does get sold, now you're gonna be like, oh, bruh, now we can really look for her. I'm about to have a hernia. What is a hernia? I'm about to get that.
And third of all, we don't have proof that that's what he genuinely wants to do. I mean, if you don't like the idea, then just break up with him.
What are you
Clearly,
talking
she
about? Hold on, go back. I don't know, I'm lost. What?
Right? So at first, the tip was from a woman who was begging the police for help to avoid her violent boyfriend. She told
Okay.
authorities that she overheard the boyfriend's plans to sell her into sex trafficking.
Lame man
are
police.
like, yeah, well, we don't really have time for that. First of all, he's your boyfriend. Second of all, you haven't been sold, have you?
We don't really have time for that.
We don't
It's
have proof that that's what he
crazy.
genuinely wants to do. I mean, if you don't like the idea, then just break up with him. Clearly, she couldn't do that, but they genuinely just could not care less. So the woman got smart, and the next time she called, she reported her boyfriend for dealing drugs. Suddenly, the police are all ears. They're like, this is deplorable. We got to do something about this. They're very interested in helping her and saving her from the big, bad, scary drug dealing boyfriend. They tell her to get a pen and paper and write down the list of things they want from her. Location of marijuana growing, location of purchasing of marijuana, location of purchasing methamphetamines, purchasing of methamphetamines from who, question mark?
Is it
Eyewitness
methamphetamines?
testimony. Sold to who and at which locations, question mark? Not only were they just investigating a drug bust rather than her whole situation with the boyfriend, they wanted her to do the job for them, do all the investigating. They're like,
Gather
bring
all
all
the
that to
evidence
us
and
and then
shit.
we'll look into it. Ooh, so exciting. Whenever she brought up the sex crimes, they just said,
might
well,
as
when
well
you catch
hire
the
her.
dog, everything comes together. Like, let's just catch him and then, you know. She put her life in danger to give the police all the evidence they wanted. But even then, they waited a full month to arrest her boyfriend. She was terrified for that full month, just waiting for him to be taken in so that she wouldn't be caught snitching on him. Eventually, her boyfriend gets arrested. Their front page pieces of the police's stellar jobs on the drug bust, shining new promotions are handed down to the officers. But they're not even done. Some of the officers would bring the girl back in, asking her, did you sleep with any celebrities? Because he was trying to like sell you to trafficking. So like, did you sleep with any celebrities? They just wanted a celebrity attached to it.
Right.
Because it would make it even bigger.
Even bigger.
And it all comes down to war. Violence against women is nothing. Violence against children is nothing.
Whoa,
Police don't
definitely
get a cookie for
somethings.
that, but they do get a cookie for winning the battles in this war against drugs. President Yoon waged war on...
But like this is the picture that they showed. They could have got him in a much more flattering light. But I look like he hasn't slept in years. I feel like he a
for
pervert.
winning the battles in this war against drugs. President Yoon waged war on drugs and told the police, at some point, drugs are not only devastating the health and spirit of the people of South Korea, but also destroying the dreams and hopes of the youth due to the neglect from government authorities.
Oh, this
the
the
government will
president?
join all forces to win the war on drugs that has eaten away our entire country.
This is the current
I'm
president.
thinking it's the police chief.
He's like really controversial, by the way. Now, side note, I don't think South Korea's drug usage is that bad compared to a lot of the other countries because
Thanks.
of their geographical locations. It's actually very hard to smuggle drugs into South Korea.
Yeah, and
They're strictly
I
a
know.
drug ban country, meaning
I ain't gonna lie, yeah, I do know that. Off the top of my head, I know a couple places that have really like harsh drug. Malaysia, Iran, Thailand, China, Vietnam, to Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Cambodia, North Korea. That's probably one of the most dangerous ones. I ain't gonna hold you, cause you get caught with drugs in North Korea, ain't no fine. Like the fine you pay is with your life. I know in the Philippines, drug traffickers, they die. And then on the flip side of that, you got Haiti. Boy, when I say Haiti is, never mind, I'm not gonna expose my folks. Hey, let's keep it pushing, boy.
hard to smuggle drugs into South Korea. They're strictly a drug ban country, meaning
Thanks.
consuming any drugs without a legitimate medical reason is illegal. Even if you're a Korean citizen, you go to California where weed is legal. You smoke weed, you come back to Incheon Airport, they can drug test you for weed. If it's proven that you smoked weed in California where it's legal, but
Hey, what's up with the lag?
if it's proven that you smoked weed in California where it's legal, but you're a Korean citizen, you're gonna get arrested. You're gonna face prison time as if you smoked weed in South Korea.
What?
So to incentivize the quote war on drugs, President Yoon's administration stated that they would prepare large-scale rewards, including special promotions for those who show achievements in excellent cases against drugs. To simplify, the police are almost dangerously incentivized to focus on drug charges, and that's it. And they know that any big drug scandal or news will be heavily watched, heavily monitored, not just by their boss, but their boss's 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 boss, the one that has the ability to give you a life-changing promotion with a giant payday. It will be watched by the president of South Korea. There's a speculation
Damn.
that the police felt a lot of pressure now. They bit down on the cake way too early, and now everyone in the nation is staring at them with icing all over their face, and it's too late to back out now. It's way too embarrassing.
You're talking about G-Dragon name is clear. Now they're like, what do we do now?
Yeah, like this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, we look stupid.
As hell.
And the way that G-Dragon handled the press conferences, it's like he's basically showing the cops that they're stupid.
And also just for context, for anyone who doesn't follow K-pop, G-Dragon is probably one of the biggest name in the K-pop
I've been
industry.
seeing him.
Yeah, he
Husband
was
Mango.
one of
part
people call
of the
him
Bang
Gen
Bang
2.
group.
Yeah,
The
Gen
Big Bang
2.
group.
So it's like an OG,
Jin.
Still one of the biggest name in the country. So
Yeah.
but his name associated with this, frontline news. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Now, their investigation relied heavily on testimony and there was zero evidence to back it up. So what happened to G-Dragon was humiliating for the police. So it's likely that they wanted to make sure that Lee doesn't get away. In Nami's 17 interrogations, so Nami, the madam, would
17
be interrogated
interrogations?
17 times by the police. Lee's name was mentioned 260 times.
What the?
Nami would state confidently that Lee did drugs in her house. How did he administer the drugs? Oh, I have a silver pipe in my house for smoking weed. When the police searched her house, they can't find the pipe anywhere. But it doesn't matter because as long as Nami is saying it happened, the police believe it happened.
Oh, Nami.
According to Nami, based off of no proof, no evidence, Lee would come over to her house, smoke marijuana, and take ketamine. And take all these other drugs, like hard drugs. I mean, it got to the point where Nami's third interrogation by the police, she couldn't even pinpoint exactly when Lee did the drugs, allegedly. So the police start helping her, allegedly. If Nami would list a date that didn't make sense, the police would say something along the lines of, well, on that day, that wouldn't have worked because he had a so-and-so appearance, like he was doing a press tour, so that couldn't have been then. It's most likely more so around these dates, right? Or another time, they told Nami, well, Lee was on a business trip to the U.S. from August 29th to September 7th. So tell us about the date that you guys did drugs between August 19th and August 29th. If I didn't know any better, I would think they're feeding her these dates.
Right.
Ultimately, Nami was unable to provide the police with a set time, date, or location of Lee doing drugs. It's like they just happened in a void. How can you be a witness testimony when you don't remember the location, time, or date where anything happened?
The testimony, not testimony, and
Right?
Yeah, that's even if you remember, that's circumstantial.
right.
It's
At
just
best.
like you could say whatever you want, honestly.
Yeah, you had a dream.
Yeah.
Double ad. Good job, Raw Mango. I like
No
this
matter
out of
how
you.
hard I try to be more health conscious,
Roll?
it just always feels very overwhelming. Between all the different podcasts,
I've never heard of
books,
this
and all
one.
these other sources, there is so much conflicting information.
I gotta
and the worst
stretch.
part is, I feel like there's always a diet or a workout challenge that's trending on the internet that just derails my progress even further.
Facts.
Because I
Actual
am the type
facts.
of person that will buy a $20 smoothie if the internet tells me that it's healthy. I've even tried workout challenges on my vlog channel before, but at the end of the day, if you're
Oh
trying
my
all these
gosh.
different diets and doing hours of cardio and you're not making progress towards your health goals, then you need to try something different because there is a better, more sustainable way to reach your health goals with the Row Body program. Row Body members have access to professional support throughout their entire weight loss journey. Medical experts will help you create a sustainable diet and exercise program. If eligible for medication, patients can get access to the most popular weight loss shots on the market to
Whoa,
help reach your
weight
goals
loss
faster
shots?
and easier. Medication costs are separate, but Row's partners will handle your insurance paperwork to try and help get your medication covered. And if you're eligible for medication, you will have access to a provider on demand for any questions that you might have. And you can sign up for the program from the comfort of your own home. The numbers don't lie in this case. Over 200,000 people have already chosen Row to help them lose weight. With Row, the average weight loss is 15 to 20% in 1 year with healthy lifestyle changes. And the best part is, all their members manage to keep the weight off. BMI and
Hey.
other eligibility criteria apply. Go to row.co/rotten. Sign up today and you'll pay just $99 for your first month and $145 a month after that. Medication costs are separate. That's ro.co/rotten.
$145 a month for a year? How much is that for in a year, bro? That's like what for 145 times 11? 1,595? That's not crazy bad, to be honest.
October 24th, 2023, the police stated that Lee was under suspicion of inhaling and administering marijuana and other types of drugs several times. They released this to the public.
Wow, that's crazy.
So what are the public thinking? They're
To
not
the
thinking,
public?
oh, I bet Nami doesn't even know a set time, location,
Nah.
and date where this happened. They're thinking, oh,
Lee done
he
did
probably,
this.
He did
they
it,
they
yeah.
got some stuff against him.
Right.
Yeah, because he
They ran with it.
Police released that, like.
Yeah.
That sounds like official information.
But they're not going to bring him in for questioning. This is all before they even talk to Lee and get
Are
his
you
side of the story. They announced this, and they state that their plan is to secure the cell phone data and conduct forensic work before they actually summon Lee for an interrogation. Apparently, when you cancel someone in Korea, they call it narak. It almost translates to
Narak.
sending someone to hell, like sending them off. It's like they're standing on the edge of a cliff, and it's just the black abyss.
I
And
jump.
then someone just pushes them. You're just sending
You
them off.
wouldn't even have to do that. I just
Lee's
jump.
agency, Hodu and You Entertainment, released a statement soon after the news broke. They stated, and this has been edited for length. First, we would like to
Not jump like to die. Jump because it just looks like fun. Like I'd definitely be okay. All them rocks and shit, I'd definitely die. I was born in water. I mean, to be fair, so were you, but I stayed there. After I was born, I went back in.
and soon after the news broke. They stated, and this has been edited for length. First, we would like to deeply apologize for causing any concern through the reports about Lee Sun Kyun. We are currently verifying the exact facts regarding the allegations raised against the actor Lee. We intend to faithfully participate in any future investigations, including submitting cell phones for analysis. We have not yet been contacted by the police. However, actor Lee has received continuous blackmail threats from an unnamed woman, Miss A person related to the incident. Lee has filed a complaint with the investigative agency. We will inform you of future progress in this regard through our legal representative. We ask for your generous understanding. Lee and his agency do respond rather quickly. They even state that Lee is being blackmailed by someone involved in all of this.
Right.
The general public did not care.
At all.
The statement just wasn't good enough. People compared Lee's statement to G-Dragon's and they just fully ripped it to shreds. They did not like the fact that Lee's agency did not comment directly that Lee never took the drugs and that he never went to the room salons. The public felt like a non-denial was basically admittance that he did all those things.
Right.
Some comments at the time read, "So who threatened you into taking drugs? Who asked you to provide an excuse to blackmail you? What kind of joke is that? You irresponsibly say, 'Oh, I want to enjoy the pleasure of the moment,' and now you regret it?" Another comment reads, "This statement is the worst. I used drugs, now I'm being threatened. Are you really that pitiful?" Another one is just, the end of a messy life, huh?
Yo,
To
netizens
make
are
matters
ruthless,
worse,
bruh.
two very well-known names in the drug world in South Korea were linked to this case.
Who?
Hwang Hana, who has been in prison like 3 times prior to this for drug usage.
Damn.
Hannah's a Nepo baby. Her grandfather founded Namyang Dairy Company, which is the country's 3rd largest dairy company that specializes in like Yakult, you know, the probiotic yogurt drinks. Hannah's dad is allegedly
That
worth
sound
at
nasty.
least over $300 million.
Damn.
Hannah's a very interesting character. Her whole family is. Her family was in hot water when the dairy company made claims that their yogurt could prevent COVID.
Yeah, we talked about her before, right?
Yeah.
Like the dairy princess.
And her fiance mysteriously passed.
Oh, right.
Yes, she was involved in a very mysterious death. And like, there's just a lot going on. But Hannah is notorious for getting caught with drugs, going to prison, coming out, and then being like, I'm never going to do it again.
Cap.
And then getting caught with drugs. And I would say that as of today, any association with Hannah probably isn't the best look. And Han So-hee was also interrogated. Han So-hee was associated with multiple K-pop idol drug scandals. Like I said, most notably Top from Big Bang. She was also involved in YG, like the YG of YG's trial. I mean, there's a lot going on. She's basically known by netizens as the villain of the K-pop world. That's how people describe her. And just like Hannah, any association with Han So-hee, typically not great. Netizens were commenting, there's a saying, birds of a feather flock together. Another one reads, they live a careless life. The same kind of people hang out with one another. Now the public is spinning together this story of how they're all connected and creating some sort of friendly drug ring together. Lee's lawyer came out to say the 3rd generation Chaebol and the aspiring entertainer are known to be subject to an internal investigation with Lee, but Lee does not know them, and the suspicion that Lee hung out with them at an entertainment establishment and took drugs is not true. We cannot reveal more at this time, but we will talk with the investigative agency about the allegations and cooperate well with the investigation. But nobody
Seem like
cared.
everybody's
Netizens
scrambling,
commented
bruh.
on the case. His image has gone down the drain. I'm
Damn.
just laughing thinking about how much he tried to cover up his image so far. With this, Lee had to drop out of a TV series that he was working on called No Way Out, which there's a lot going on here, but the series name is No Way Out, and in
Damn.
it, a really scary criminal is freed. Lee plays a police officer that has to protect citizens from the criminal, but also keep the criminal safe from the bounty hunters that are after him. A lot of netizens saw the irony, they said, and demanded Lee be taken off the project because they
I peeped the leg and it's pissing me off.
Irony, they said, and demanded Lee be taken off the project because they could not see him as a police officer.
Damn.
Some netizens commented, in the future, when producing large-scale movies, the main character should undergo drug tests before proceeding. If you're honest, there's no reason you should say no to a drug test. But if you're not, and you can't get tested, you should become a drug suspect for the police. Because of Lee's case, investors are losing millions. There are even conversations about banning celebrities from being on air if they ever have a drug scandal or investigation. Meaning any show or movie that they previously worked on would not be able to air during their scandal, or perhaps even after. They would be banned from ever coming back.
Like, if it's for hard drugs, then yeah, I can understand that. But if it's for like weed, bro, is it really that serious?
Which the logic of that is insane.
Crazy.
People who commit acts of violence or other crimes while under the influence is another thing. But people who are just caught using drugs, I've never met someone who was dependent on drugs that wasn't hurting a lot inside. So great idea. Let's just make sure that these people don't have jobs to come back to. That's perfect, because that should really teach them a lesson to not do drugs.
It's because the people who suggest this want the end result to be a further deepening of their despair. They want to see the person that is going through that situation, they want to see it get worse. You know what I'm saying? Those are the same types of people that actively enjoy and anticipate the downfall of other folks, especially celebrities.
So great idea. Let's just make sure that these people don't have jobs to come back to.
Yeah.
That's perfect, because that should really teach them a lesson to not do drugs. Meanwhile, Cho Do-sun can open up a coffee shop in the mountains if he wants to and live next to playgrounds and be in the same town as his victim.
Who is that nigga? What? What?
Like, make it make sense.
What?
October 28th,
What is she talking
2023,
about?
Lee goes in for his first interrogation. When he leaves the police station, the press and the public are waiting for him. As he addresses the media, he gives them a deep bow as a show of deep apology, and he bursts into tears. And he apologizes for causing such an inconvenience for everyone, but he does deny taking any drugs. He apologizes to his family and says, I apologize to them as they are suffering and going through very hard times.
He looks stressed,
He
bro.
continues, and above all, I would like to bow down once again to everyone who has trusted and supported me so far.
소속사를 통해서 전달했듯이 진실한 자세로 성실하게 수사에 임하겠다는 입장은 변함이 없습니다. 그리고 지금 이 순간 너무 힘든 고통을 감내하고 있는 가족들에게 미안한 마음입니다.
After his first interrogation, Lee's urine test came back negative for drugs.
Hey,
The police would call in Lee to do another drug test. This time, instead of a urine test, they wanted to take 100 strands of his hair. They tested every section of every strand of the 100 hairs, and the results came back negative. It's a very thorough test.
Right.
It stated that Lee did not use drugs for approximately 8 to 10 months. This is in like October, November. Remember the timeline? The police are like, August, right? You guys did drugs in August.
Yeah.
It would most definitely show up in his hair test.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you could argue maybe he did drugs 11 months ago, 2 years ago, but that's not evidence.
Yeah,
He took the test
that
in
don't matter.
November, and just going off Nami's testimony, she stated they did drugs in August. It would have absolutely shown up on the drug test.
Major
Yeah, so
Kaya.
she's lying.
Yes.
So this should be
Over.
yeah.
And the police, honestly, I feel like they could come out and say, she lied.
And we
What?
fucked up.
Yeah. So let's move on. My apologies.
But what happened?
Let's move it, keep it moving. The authorities wanted more drug tests from Lee. They took his leg hair and his armpit hair to be tested.
Leg
His leg
hair?
hair came back untestable, which it just means that a lot of Asians don't have really thick hair follicles on their legs. So there's not a lot to test.
I ain't got
for the
thick
drugs.
hair
It's just too thin
follicles
of
on my
hair.
legs. Am I
But
Asian?
The way that it was worded in the press
I'm
made it
Asian?
seem like, ooh, the results are iffy. Like they couldn't determine. It was less of like, oh yeah, it's, because his hair wasn't enough. Or some people ran with it and said, maybe he like thinned out the hair on his legs. Maybe he shaved his legs.
Bro, why y'all want to
His
prosecute
armpit
this
hair
nigga
was
so badly?
thick enough, and the results would come back negative. The same day Lee's test results all came back negative and the results would be publicized to the public. I mean, this is a huge day. This is the day that he's been waiting for because he's proved himself. He's innocent. He can look the public in the eye. He can be just like G-Dragon and take his career back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's traumatized. There's going to be so many emotional scars. He will never get back this type of everything that's happened to him, but
Right.
he can get his life back together.
What happened?
But none of the media outlets really reported on the negative drug test. The press up until this point had been so all over this case that if Lee so much as breathed, there'd be like 100 new articles on it. Suddenly, they're not intrigued by the negative drug test results. They're too busy talking about his newly leaked phone conversation.
Oh,
The same day his hair test results
my
came back
God.
negative, the press did not report on it. They were writing about a KBS released phone call, a leaked call of a recording of Lee and the madam of the room salon, Nami, where Lee can be heard telling her, "I like you a lot too, you know that, right?" And she responds, "I don't know, since you never express it." His negative drug results were made public, but who cares about drugs when you have an A-list married actor confessing his love to a mistress who runs a salacious establishment? And you have the audio to
This
go along
nigga
with
can't
it.
catch a break.
Side note, where do you think KBS got that audio? Just wondering. I don't know. But like, who would have that audio?
The
Nami would
police.
have that
Nami
audio.
and-
Who's working with the police? I'm just saying.
Oh, you're saying police leaked it?
A lot of netizens believe that police were involved in leaking
Oh,
a lot
God.
of information for this case.
God.
Like
Oh,
how they
God.
leaked Lee's name in the beginning of this so that they could get a lot of publicity and that they could make this a big blown thing and get pats on the back once they solved
Why
it.
the police so shady?
And now, once the drug tests come back negative, maybe it's time to divert attention, allegedly. This is speculation online. Everyone went crazy because you have to remember that Lee's wife is also a famous person. They
Damn.
brought up old interviews of his wife talking about how she put her career on the back burner so that he could go full force into his dreams. She said, "You go out and drink and do what you will." She's like talking about her husband in an interview. "But I have to focus on the family," to the point where sometimes I even forget my name. And this is on a show called Healing Camp, where a
Damn.
lot of celebrities will come and they just try to be as vulnerable as possible. So this is not her going on an interview and be like, "My husband." Like, they're just trying to really dig deep
She's
and
gorgeous.
have these
She's
hard
absolutely
conversations with each
beautiful.
other on this show.
Why would you like?
She said, "Sometimes I even forget my own name. I forget that I too was an actress. That's why sometimes I think of my husband as my third son." Other times she joked that she had 4 sons. She has her husband Lee, their actual 2 sons, and their boy dog. Netizens' comments were flooded with, "Isn't he embarrassed for his children? What was he thinking doing drugs with a woman at an adult establishment when he had his family and his career?"
Okay. Yeah, hey. Some of y'all niggas that be commenting, netizens, not the tribe. The tribe is golden in my eyes, if I'm keeping it honest. I am the Puchok Chidoja. That's tribe leader in Korean, in case y'all ain't know. So, you know, I am a little biased. I'm just keeping it honest. But I can't ever imagine y'all commenting some shit like this, bro. That's not only is that mean spirited, that comes from a place of like anger, bro. Like, you genuinely dislike this nigga to not only mention his children, but to also mention allegations that aren't even true. It's like they're eager to send this nigga's head to the chopping block, bro.
Netizens' comments were flooded with, "Isn't he embarrassed for his children? What was he thinking doing drugs with a woman at an adult establishment when he had his family and his career?" Others hated the fact that his wife had ran for Miss Korea and she was extremely well respected in the theater world and incredibly skilled in her profession. She was a dedicated wife and mother, yet he still cheated.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A lot of people pointed out the fact that his wife was slowly starting to get more involved in her career now that her kids were getting older. They called it her second golden age. She's always been active, but more so now. But now with Lee's scandal, she's losing brand ambassadorships. People don't want to work with her, even for casting. People are so hesitant to work with her, even though she's not suspected of doing anything, because it's just a lot of baggage that's going to be attached to the show now.
Yeah.
All the press is going to be about like, "Oh, she's starring in it. What's her husband doing?"
Right.
They also lost a lot of brand deals together because people really liked them as a family unit. So one of their biggest brand deals was with SK Telecom and to promote a kid-friendly educational
Sesame
service
Street!
on TV.
I love
They were
Sesame
quickly
Street.
dropped. The controversy got so
Hey,
intense, the
bird.
police sent both of their sons to the US to get away from the media attention. News reports started coming out that Lee was part of the top 1% of VIPs at a room salon. But in reality, he was allegedly just a guest at a room salon club dubbed as a 1% club. So like it's like a play on words, like, oh, he's top 1%, almost indicating he's there all the time. What is he doing there all the time? And again, I have nothing to say about the timing about all of this, but if I did have something to say, I would probably say there are no such things as coincidences.
Facts.
G-Dragon was
Facts.
accused of doing drugs based off of Nami's testimony. He was paraded around in the media, dragged through the mud. He almost lost his career. At one point, he was facing over $38 million in penalty fees for breaking brand ambassadorship deals because of this scandal. His life was about to be over. The police were basically barking to the whole nation that G-Dragon was the bad guy and they're going to get him. Then all of his drug tests come back negative. The public start to question if maybe the investigation had been excessive. The police feel like they've been caught with their fists in their mouths. So now with Lee,
Pants
they're
down.
even more desperate.
Dildo
They
in
have
her
to do
butt.
something to redeem their image. And yet, even with all these negative drug tests, Lee was called in for his third police questioning.
Third?
And each time, it was a press circus. Each time, he had to stand in front of all these journalists that were actively digging up every single bad thing that he did from his past and twisting it in just really gross ways. He would have to apologize for something that he wasn't even proven guilty of doing yet. And December 23rd, 2023, so a few months ago, Lee walked into the police station for his third questioning. He would not walk back out for 19 hours. He walked in at 10 a.m. and would not walk out until 5 a.m. the next day. It's snowing outside. It's freezing. He's wearing a black coat and a scarf. He bows to the press, and the first thing he says are, "First of all, I'm sincerely sorry to have the reporters wait because it ended so late today with the investigation." His statement to the press after his third and last interrogation was, "I did my best to cooperate today. Now I ask the police to carefully determine which side of the statement is credible between me and the blackmailers. Once again, I'm sorry to keep you guys all waiting this late." I mean, there's so much wrong with this. In South Korea, you're not allowed to interrogate someone between 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. to safeguard their human rights. But the police stated that they received consent from Lee, so they're fine. The police argued, but he consented. But I don't think he really had a choice here.
There's no
Can you
way.
Imagine if you reject that. Can you imagine?
That would be career death instantly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that it's not advised that police conduct long investigations. It's stated on average, people who falsely confessed to crimes that they did not commit were interrogated for around 16.9 hours before they admitted to that crime. That's typically the threshold. Also, side note, but not really because this is so strange, but they made him take mugshots every time he came in for an interrogation. They also refused to let him use the underground parking lot when coming in. Usually high-profile people are allowed because you don't want too much of a media circus for the integrity of the investigation and for the safety of the parties involved. But no, the police wanted it as public as possible. They basically wanted him to have a perp walk.
Yeah,
And when
that's
the police were
annoying as
questioned,
shit,
why
bro.
19 hours? Yeah, okay, so what? He consented, but why 19?
You know what I hate? I hate that they can just say police. I wish there's names okay, this is the man in charge who made these decisions.
Yeah, I wish
Because
so
these
too,
are-
bro.
You're talking about some very, very, very life-altering decisions that you're making right now. Like making someone park outside versus parking underground. What this is going to do.
Who does make those
Someone-
decisions?
Imagine that's you. What is that going to impact you and your families?
Yeah.
forever?
Yeah.
That's-
I also feel like that is why a lot of the times even big companies don't get canceled for doing some of the most heinous stuff because there's not a face, there's not a name. They're hidden behind this entity of a group of people. And it's just so vague. Same with this case, it's the police, right? But these are
someone's making the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Someone's sitting there I'm going to get a promotion.
Yeah.
They did get a promotion. The police stated the interrogation was going to last so long because they were also investigating his extortion claims. It's not just because he's a drug suspect. They're also trying to help him. Duh. But it was later uncovered that out of the 19 hours, they only spent 1.5 hours on his complaint that he was being blackmailed. After 19 hours of being interrogated, Lee admitted he might have taken drugs, but by complete accident. He stated there was a situation where he was having trouble sleeping, and Nami said that she had a sleeping pill that she could let him have. But she said, no, don't ingest it. It's not going to work quickly enough. It works better and faster if you snort it. So he stated that she instructed him to snort it through a straw. He doesn't know if this was a drug or not. He genuinely thought it was a sleeping pill. Now, think about how strange this is. 19-hour interrogation, Lee is in the clear at this point. He's got all negative drug tests so far. But suddenly, after a 19-hour interrogation, even though the science and the drug tests state otherwise, Lee is admitting to doing drugs, at least in some capacity.
Oh, my headphones.
Almost immediately after the third interrogation, Lee's attorneys stated this was completely unjust and they demanded a lie detector test for Lee. Now, this is not his attorney saying this, but netizens have kind of put this together. First of all, we don't know if the snorting of a sleeping pill through a straw incident even happened or if he was pressured to say that it happened by the police.
Right.
So if Lee lied and was pressured to say it, if that's the case, he's innocent. Second, even if it did happen, could it have been just really sleeping pills that he snorted? Because Lee's drug test all came back clean. So if that's the case, he's innocent. Third, Lee might have just been trying to be overly helpful with the police. He might have felt like honesty is the best choice here, and he assumed that if he was honest with the police, they would help him find justice.
Yeah, because there's no reason for him to confess to anything right now. What
exactly,
are you talking about?
Because he's in the clear, right? Which in that case, he's innocent.
Yeah.
Fourth, Lee told the truth. He thought it was sleeping pills. It turned out not to be. If that's the case, how did it not show up on the drug test? But also, he's innocent because he was drugged.
Yeah.
Now, fifth, if Lee didn't tell the truth, he knew that he snorted a recreational drug, but he was trying to play it off. That just doesn't make sense because his drug test came back negative. Why would he ever tell the truth now if that's what
I'm
really
saying,
happened?
bro. Like
he's clear. Why would he screw himself over the last minute?
Yeah.
None of this matters because his drug test, the DNA, the science that the police made sure to use and emphasize, it did not work in their favor. It was all negative. Therefore, he's innocent, bro. And if I didn't do something and you interrogated me for I don't care how long, you could suck my dick, nigga. I ain't do this shit. What are you talking about? I didn't do nothing. Even if I did do it. Even if I did do it, you won't have to pry it out of me with pliers. You know what I'm saying? Pliers. Why am I so low?
That just doesn't make sense because his drug test came back negative. Why would he ever tell the truth now if that's what really happened?
Right.
Like he's clear. Why would he screw himself over the last minute?
Yeah, like this is anybody with brain cell will come to this conclusion. Like this makes no sense.
I ain't got no brain cells.
No sense. And even if he said that
and I came to that conclusion
and was not forced to say that, everything leads to he's innocent.
Right.
Yeah. He's innocent. Like I don't know what to say. He's innocent.
I don't understand what the problem is. His attorney
stated if Nami was telling the truth, the drug test should have come back positive, but they came back negative.
Leave my
Lee
dog
is finding
alone.
himself in an extremely unfair situation. A lie detector test should be conducted on both of them to verify who is speaking truthfully. Allegedly, the police officer interrogating Lee was calling Nami, the blackmailer, by her first name, but in a very casual way. You would never really hear that in a professional setting. It just sounded too friendly, too casual in Korean verbiage, almost hinting at some sort of friendliness or even rapport build with
past
Nami.
connection, yeah.
Then there was backlash. The police just stated, we investigated fairly according to the law and principles. So he gets released from his 19-hour interrogation, and 24 hours right after, before Lee's death, 2 more phone calls were leaked. So one between Nami, the middle blackmailer, and Lee's friend, Mr. Kim, and the other between Nami and Lee.
How did
Both
Lee
phone
die?
calls take place when Nami is trying to get $250,000. Now, the first phone call with Mr. Kim, the friend, Nami's talking about how she thinks someone bugged her house through her houseplants. And side note, I've heavily shortened these. Nami just rambles like the whole conversation. So Mr. Kim asks, what do you mean they have a recording file on you? I think they planted something in my house. What? I think they planted something in my house. By the way, Lee has been in and out of my house a lot, and I think the blackmailer knows way too much about the dates and the information about my house. About what? Just personal conversations. You know, I had a deep relationship with Lee. Anyway, there were things like physical relationships with Lee, you know? Yeah. But I'm not really on the same team as the hacker, and I'm fine as long as I get arrested. Shouldn't we save Lee, though? I want to die. Oppa, what do we do about this?
Who's Oppa?
What do the blackmailers want exactly? Money. How much? $250K. Huh? $250K. I mean, there's no end to that, though. Even if we pay for it anyway, it's just going to keep going. No. Oppa, I know this guy. I don't care if I am poor. I'm going to protect Lee. Lee is okay. There's nothing else. Like, Lee didn't take drugs or anything. No, Lee did drugs. What? Lee did drugs with me. Who? Oppa, Lee did drugs with me. He did what with you?
Drugs! You stupid Oppa!
He'd be drunk, and then he would come out of nowhere, and he'd have nowhere to go, and then, you know, he'd wake up at my house, and I would try to get him to wake up. He wouldn't wake up. He had to go sign some contract with his wife, and his manager came to my house, and his wife called me like 60 times. He still didn't go. I don't know, okay? I only met married men, so I don't know them well, but I think Oppa has not cheated before much. That's why he likes to drink, and he drinks, and he doesn't know where to go. Wait. So what kind of meds did he take?
What the fuck?
Ketamine and marijuana. I have a pro athlete friend who is doing a doping test right now. It's very accurate. So I did one yesterday and I knew that there was a lot of cannabis in my body, but Lee Oppa was drunk and he asked me, do you guys have meds? Do you guys have drugs? So I gave it to him out of curiosity. Yeah, we met a little bit deeper than you thought. He often drinks at home and then doesn't have a place to go. So
Curiosity
he would
of
ask
what?
to come here, and then he would keep asking for some drugs. He'd be like, do you have drugs? And then I would give him Viagra. Anyway, I tried the doping test, and it's really accurate. Like, you can even tell what kind of diet that you have.
Why did she just slip into Viagra? What? Like, what? I don't... Okay. How's that medicine, bro? I don't... Okay.
Tried the doping test, and it's really accurate. Like, you can even tell what kind of diet that you have. Oh my God.
I'm on a water
but
diet.
I can go to prison because it's my fault, but shouldn't we try to protect Lee?
Why does she keep saying that?
Right.
Yeah.
So manipulative.
Husband, thank you.
If someone is recording in your home right now, then that means you know them. Hwang Hana, the milk chaebol. But I never did drugs with her, I swear. But somehow I got involved. Listen, if we don't prepare the $250,000 by Wednesday, they're going to leak it to the media. So you're saying that your drug tests come back and there's no drugs in your system? No drugs in my system. Then Lee would not have drugs in his system. It's in his hair. Oh, it's in his hair. But you said you didn't have any though. I bleached my hair 7 times and I also didn't do drugs that many times. The conversation is just really bizarre. Some netizens feel like it confirms Lee wasn't doing drugs because even his close friend Mr. Kim seems surprised at the mention that he does drugs, and Nami keeps telling him that he's doing drugs. Like, it's just kind of weird.
I'm not
it's
believing
like she's trying to
that.
gaslight him into thinking that Lee does drugs.
Yeah.
Now, the second phone conversation that was leaked between Lee and Nami, he's at golf practice and Nami's just acting incredibly stressed. Lee already knows about the blackmailer and the hacking and all of that, but she's just trying to talk in circles and get more money out of him. She wants $250,000. And at a lot of parts in the conversation, Lee sounds like he's really doubting her whole story about being hacked. She says she's like hacked multiple times. Her phone was robbed. It's just a lot. And now here's what's interesting. In this phone conversation with Lee, she doesn't bring up the fact that they did drugs. She's not like, remember, you would come over when you're drunk and then you'd be like, do you have pills?
Interesting, because that never happened. She would just
cryptically say things like, you did something with me because you were drunk. And Lee sounds confused. He's like, what? She keeps mentioning and hinting at the hacker and like they need the money because there might be drugs in his like just hinting at it. Never really says it.
Yeah, see, that's like she trying to gaslight him.
Yeah.
Now.
Like almost like you don't remember because you were drunk.
Yeah.
Nami just spends the whole conversation trying to convince him to give her the $250K for the blackmailer. And side note, another thing that makes this whole thing so much more sad is one text message sent by Nami to Lee. A lot of netizens think that this proves that he didn't do drugs. This is when she's trying to convince him to give her the blackmail money. She texts him, Oppa, just tell me yes or no for the money. It's so simple. I get you're tired, but right now my life is paralyzing. I didn't know that people around me that were near me were so evil. When that fuck mentioned your name, my heart started racing. Even the simple fact that you will know that I did drugs is so embarrassing. So I just wanted to hide it. That's why I just told you to just leave.
She's saying that you will be embarrassed of me doing drugs.
Yeah, like I would be so embarrassed if you found out that I did drugs.
Yeah, that means he probably doesn't like drugs.
Right.
Yeah, he probably doesn't do drugs. Otherwise, he'd be like, you do drugs? That's fun. Me too.
Exactly.
Let's bond over drugs.
It's very interesting. Now, these phone calls were released just a day before Lee's death, and I felt like it was more favorable to him. It proved that he was being blackmailed. Other than the conversation with Mr. Kim, which is just, again, Nami talking about Lee doing drugs, providing zero evidence, there's nothing, like really nothing. But the media, the public, they did not care. They used these phone call leaks to further their narrative that Lee was absolutely guilty of drugs. Maybe they're talking about drug tests, so maybe he found a way to hack the drug test. One comment reads, one of the reasons why drugs are so rampant in our country is because the punishment is weak. Similar to China, we should impose life imprisonment or the death penalty. The same day the phone calls were released, 24 hours before Lee's death, the government announced a whole group of promotions for police officers, including some investigators working directly on Lee's case. They were being promoted. December 27th, 2023, around 10:12 a.m., Lee's manager went to stop by his place because he hasn't been able to get in contact with Lee all night. He was starting to get nervous. He let himself in and saw that Lee was not there. There was just a letter that resembled a will left in the house. The letter allegedly states something along the lines of, "I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do, there's no other way." He immediately calls the police and they find Lee Sun Kyun dead in his car. Parked near Waryoung Park, there was a coal briquette found in the passenger seat.
What is that?
He died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
What is it?
He was gone.
Damn.
It was stated by netizens, Lee Sun Kyun was not just a suspect in the drug case, but a victim in the extortion case. However, for 71 days, he was treated as a criminal.
Facts.
There's a saying in Korea that is, when I do it, it's romance. When you do it, it's a sin. It usually applies for cheating. When you are the cheater, you romanticize it. You have all these reasonings behind why you did it. But then when someone else does it, you read about it on the news. Or you hear your neighbor cheated or your wife cheats. They're despicable sinners and they deserve every bad, horrendous consequence that comes their way. And again, I'm not defending cheating, but cheating is maybe the only thing that we can assume Lee did. And even that, we don't know the pure extent of that. While it's bad, does he really need to lose his career because of it? It's a conversation.
Yeah, let's keep it honest. The media and the net and this nigga to his death, bro. And it's sad. What's even scarier is that there will be some people who feel joy in having that much power to push someone to do that. Because that's really what it is. They state their opinions on things because it allows them to have some sort of power over what they're seeing.
We don't know the pure extent of that. While it's bad, does he really need to lose his career because of it? It's a conversation for him and his family and for them to decide how to proceed. It's sad. It might make him lose fans because they thought he's a great family man and this shatters their vision of him, but that's like the full extent.
Yeah.
That's like as bad as it should get. But no, he was never proven guilty of anything. Even his death was leaked to the press. 13 minutes before Chosun TV exclusively reported the news at 11 a.m., a post went up on an online forum that read, "It looks like actor Lee Sun Kyun has died." The first few comments were before 11 a.m. and they were really confused. They read, "I'm glad this is just clickbait. Hey, don't play with people's lives like that." Well, there hasn't been a single article, so what is this bullshit? When the official news came out 13 minutes later, netizens started going back to that post and asking, why are there so many leaks in this investigation? Who put this post up? Lee was actually known for his voice. He didn't really like it, apparently, much in the beginning. Some people describe it as being stuffy. Other people, so I asked my mom, and my mom says it's like very dongle, which is like very round. It almost is like a round sound that rolls around in a cave. Others describe it to be very thick, like honey.
Thick?
But it's kind of his charisma when he acts. But it's also the reason why his acting is so good. It's harder for him to show a very strong, wide range of emotions clearly through his voice. He's able to do it so well. It just takes so much more effort. It's kind of incredible how many characters he's fit his voice into and his life into. He's played such a diverse role of characters throughout his career. People said he's got this unique talent. He just is able to dial in his aura so subtly. It's like he can control how much of him is actually in this character and how much isn't, how much he's pulling from himself. And it's like the perfect amount each time. One director said, "I think the job of an actor is to store up everything he has experienced and feel with his whole body and bring it out in front of the camera and dedicate your life to it." And Lee did that with every performance. But it took a while for audiences to warm up to him. And once they did, I mean, it just kind of exploded. I think for like 7 years, though, nobody knew who this guy was. He worked so hard. He became an A-list actor. And even before that, before he was well off, before he was making good money, a lot of directors just remember how dedicated he was. There was one director who signed Lee for the role of the movie, and the director's like, "I'm just letting you know now, this budget is non-existent. So when we have a scene with multi-camera angles where you need 5 different angles in one shot, I only have 1 camera. So you're gonna have to sit there and redo the same scene while I move around into the 5 different angles."
Hey, bro, okay? I feel that. I feel that a lot.
That's fine. Like, he never complained. He was described as being the A-list actor, even when he made it, to show up to these tiny events that his friends were hosting, while all of his peers are like, "Well, I can't go because the appearance fee and this and that." He would just show up for free. And
Real
even
nigga.
before he made it, before he had money, he would get all of his junior actors and co-stars together and he would buy all their meals. He would also, this is when he barely has a job. Like, he's got, maybe he booked 1 role.
Why did this
He doesn't have
happen
the
to
next one
him,
lined
bruh?
up. but he would bring one of his junior friends over, just started, and he would go to the director, I'm telling you, this guy, you gotta book him for your next movie. Give him a chance, please. Like, he's so good.
Such a real nigga,
He's trying
bro.
to give his friends roles when he hasn't even secured a role for himself. One director called him a treasure trove of actors, because every day he would pitch you a new up-and-coming actor that didn't have a chance, and he'd be like, I'm telling you, this is the one. And then he met his wife. Well, he didn't really meet her. He saw her in a movie, and then he asked a friend of his to be like, please, can you just let me meet her in person? One time, you guys are in the same agency, that's it, just once. So they meet, and they talk for 15 minutes, and he had to go because he had to go film, and he begged her for her number. And ever since then, I mean, I would say in hindsight, watching interviews of the couple, it doesn't feel like they have the perfect relationship, but it does seem like they have a lot of love and adoration for each other, but almost a lot of even fun. In an interview, when Lee's wife was asked about what Lee likes the most, she said, that's so easy. He loves 잘한다, like, you did good. I'm so proud of you. You're doing good. Like, wow, that's crazy. You did good. He loves that. She explains, and she's talking to Lee in this interview. You always say that you're not enough and that it's all luck or you were just picked or that the universe lined up. But no, I think it's just talent. In another part of the interview, his wife tells him, I love you, so stop trying to verify and test my love. And he just starts bust out laughing. And then she goes on to rant about him using 20 pots every time he makes a single meal. She says, just because you played a chef one time on a show does not mean you're a chef. The food's not even good and you use 20 pots.
Damn.
Okay?
Nah, that's
The
a
two
real
dated
marriage
for
right
7
there.
years before getting married and having 2 sons. And Lee talked about the birth of his first son, and he said it was so emotional. He said when he was born, it was such an emotional moment. And then out of nowhere, the nurse asks me to sing. And I'm like, what? I'm crying. I start singing, and then I just start sobbing. And there's just so many times you can see how much he loves his kids. There was one variety show that he was on where he would travel through Europe on a train with a bunch of other celebrities. And he would periodically call his family and show them the scenery. But he's such a dad when he does it. Like, you would never think that this guy was on stage to win an Academy Award. He doesn't know how to flip. He's there in like basketball shorts, hoodies, and flip-flops. He's trying to show his sons where he's sleeping on the train, but he doesn't know how to flip the camera over. So he's just like trying to get the angle nonstop. He's just awkwardly trying to show them. Afterwards, his wife is like, why do you look like that? Why's your face so bloated? He's like, yeah, I'm tired. And then she'd be like, okay, show me the train. Show the kids the train. Then he'd go back to showing the train. December 29th, 2023, just 2 days after his death, his family held a private funeral. Lee's 2 sons flew back into Korea, and it is Korean tradition that your loved one or your family member has to carry your funeral photo, a portrait of you, in front of you as your loved ones carry your coffin to the hearse, to the car. My dad did this when my grandfather passed away, and he said it was probably the heaviest thing that he's ever carried. But my dad was a full-grown man when his dad passed. Both of Lee's sons were really young, 14 and 12.
Damn.
There were also post-it notes left behind by fans at the funeral, and they read, rest comfortably now, and goodbye, my ajushi, I'll love you forever. At the SBS Drama Awards that was hosted that very night of his funeral, everyone came, but netizens said there was a shift in the air. There was almost this contained, controlled anger running through everyone there.
God.
Anger and sadness. Hwaza had rehearsed 2 of her new biggest songs, Chilly and I Love My Body. But in a single day, she changed her entire set and outfit, and she sang her song LMM, dedicated to Lee.
LMM?
The song is about breaking free and trying to face adversity and still have hope. The lyrics go, like the world is gonna end, the sun set.
Wasa! Oh my God! I'm like, yo, why does Wasa sound? I love you so much. Oh my gosh! She is so beautiful. I almost got a little break, but this is a very sad moment right now. So we gonna all of us are gonna have to calm down. Bro, Wasa, I love you so much. She looks so good. That's goddamn. Why she look that good right there? Hold on.
The lyrics go, like the world is gonna end, the sun sets into the long darkness. It feels like we're gonna get thrown away. Even if we try to make more, we're still just hanging around the same place. But flowers bloom even in the falling rain.
Damn.
One of Lee's friends won an award, and he had just spent the earlier part of the day at Lee's funeral, and now he's at this award ceremony, and he went up on stage and he said, "Today is the day that I sent my brother to heaven, and today is also the day that I won this award. So I dedicate this to you in heaven," who has always been very serious about acting.
수상 소감보다는 그냥 편지를 하나 쓰고 싶네요. 이제 더 이상 아픔도 걱정거리도 없는 평안한 세상에서 편하게 쉬길 빌겠습니다. 오늘 너를 하늘나라로 보낸 날인데 형이 상을 받았다. 언제나 연기에 늘 진심이었던 하늘에 있는 너한테 이 상을 바친다. 잘 가라 동생.
Now, it was very quick for the police to be able to track SJ as the main blackmailer. SJ was not that tech savvy. She wasn't hidden well. I mean, she was arrested the day after Lee's death on December 28th, 2023. And this part really angered a lot of netizens, but she showed up to the police station in a big black puffer jacket, hat, holding a 2-year-old baby in her arms.
Whoa.
So you remember how Nami is called a flower serpent, like a flower snake?
Yeah.
SJ is known by the people around her as the grass snake.
Why?
Because she loved golf. But she didn't even love golf. She just loved going to golf clubs and looking for rich men to blackmail. Yeah, that's all she did.
But whose
she
kid
would
is
go
that?
on these apps, find rich married men, go to the golf course, find rich married men, sleep with them, and then she would extort them for money. More often than not, like I said, they're married. This is kind of her type for a reason. She would meet with them, sleep with them, and then say, "Oppa, I'm pregnant." So just imagine her calling up like 10 guys allegedly to state, "I'm pregnant and it's your child, but I'm reasonable. I don't want a child. I don't want to break up your marriage. So let's terminate. But I need money to do that." The men would happily hand over the money. But a few days later, they would get another phone call. SJ sounds emotional. She sounds scared. "They said I have a condition that makes the termination process so much more complicated. They say it's going to cost a lot more." How much more? About $8,000 more. The men typically already came this far. There's no going back, so they would send her the money. And usually, this is where her scam would end. Until January 2023, she actually ends up having a baby. She's actually pregnant.
Ooh.
So she decides to expand her scam. She went from, "Oh no, I'm pregnant, send me money to terminate." "Oh no, they said I have a rare condition, so it's going to cost a lot more," to, "Oh well, oopsie, they actually told me my condition is uterine fibroid cancer, so I will die if I don't have the baby. Anyway, I gave birth and it's yours. It's your baby, so pay me child support." At one point, she was collecting child support from 5 different men for one child. A child that she didn't even want to take care of. It's alleged that SJ would get so excited to party that she would just drop her baby off at random people's houses and leave.
Bro, this situation is like... This is like crazy, bro. Shorty is about her money, but in the most horrific of ways, bro. Like, how you live with yourself at the end of the day? I hope that kid is in a better home, bro, because no way that kid had like a good upbringing for those few years that she was taking care of him, bro, or them. I hope that kid is doing better, on God. I'll be right back. I gotta go help my brother-in-law.
She would not come back for days to get that baby.
Mom.
She was just so
She should not have
bizarre.
that kid,
like,
bro.
Everything about this was bizarre. And a lot of netizens felt like the craziest aspect about this case in terms of SJ was, I mean, all of this was for a Porsche. Not really, but kind of. She really wanted a Porsche Taycan. Yeah. SJ wanted to scam people and blackmail Nami so that she could just drive nice cars. It's not like she was in desperate need of money to survive. SJ's dad is actually quite wealthy. He owns a big wild ginseng distribution business, and in a lot of Asian countries, ginseng can be upwards of like $1,500 a pound during high seasons. He bought her the apartment that she lives in. He bought her a luxury SUV to drive. He told her, "These are your necessities.
Bruh,
Anything
is
outside of that,
really...
you're gonna have to earn because you're in your late 20s. And it'd be so easy. He even offered her a job at his business where she could get paid $10,000 a month if she worked hard. It was not enough for her.
Bro, that greed thing, I can't even speak too much on it because I'm greedy. I'm just keeping it honest. I want what's mine and I want more of it. Am I willing to set a child up for trauma for my greed?
It's likely that SJ brought the baby into the police station
That's
to get
120 bands a year, bro.
It kind of backfired. She ends up getting charged on child abuse on top of her fraud and blackmail charges.
Good.
And yeah, in addition, a plastic surgeon named Dr. L was also arrested for suspicion of supplying Nami and all these other people at the bar or the salon with drugs. The most infuriating part of all of this is that SJ and Nami's identities were being protected by the police. They were actually released by YouTubers, which is very complicated because on one hand, I don't know if YouTubers should be the ones releasing people's personal information like that because what if they get it wrong? Who are they to make that decision, I guess? But at the same time, why do these people have the privilege of hiding their faces?
Facts.
Exactly.
Like if nobody is innocent until proven guilty, then nobody is innocent until proven guilty. Across the board.
Bro,
and again, another infuriating thing is Nami, even the madam of the room salon, had a lot of luxury items. She had bags that were worth like $20,000 to $30,000 a bag. She had a Cartier Benoit watch, like very expensive things. And again, nothing excuses blackmail. But these women, they didn't even need money to put food on the table or feed their kids. They did it for luxury items. A professor of criminal law said about the investigation, the interrogation should have stopped at the second drug test. They both resulted in negatives. However, because of the media and press attention, the police felt pressure to find a criminal. Maybe they felt like they had to keep trying. It's like they were forced onto a train that they couldn't stop. But the police disagree. The day after Lee's death, the Incheon National Police Agency held a press conference where the police commissioner general, one of the highest ranks, said, "Anyway, it's a really unfortunate choice, and I personally really like Lee." He's talking.
Sorry, no, mentor. What the fuck? Oh nah. Oh nah. Oh nah. A lot, bro. We gonna have to get back for Lee. Like, bro, they are treating his death with too much disrespect and casualness, bro. It's like nobody cares. The only people that seem to care was the family. The media don't give a fuck. The police officers don't give a fuck. Nami and SJ clearly don't care. Hey, you got money and you still trying to what?
Anyway, it's a really unfortunate choice, and I personally really like Lee. He's talking about the choice being Lee's, not the choice that the police made.
Oh, really? What?
Unfortunate choice.
That's fucking crazy.
And I personally really liked Lee, but I don't agree with this as, you know, did the police investigation go wrong? It would be difficult for us to handle such an investigation if we continue to conduct it behind closed doors. Don't you guys want to know the truth? Do you tolerate it when we investigate it with a private interrogation?
That's
so
what you
he's
did.
throwing the blame back at the public and the press, stating they would have been upset if they kept the investigation quiet.
What?
The CEO of the Korean Film Producers Union said, the police commissioner basically just said, "What? You guys wanted this. Why are you doing this to me and getting mad when you're accomplices in all of this?" The police general continued, "I cannot agree with the allegations of a time-consuming investigation. The period of investigation into Mr. Lee is the time it normally takes to conduct a drug investigation. And unlike G-Dragon, who was cleared of charges, we decided that further investigation was necessary, so we summoned him once more."
For 19 hours.
To the very end, it seems like they will take zero responsibility.
At all.
One netizen note, the Korean police never really cared about the extortion case because they thought they were going to bag a high-profile celeb on drugs. 2 high-profile celebs, actually.
Yeah.
Neither of whom actually took any drugs.
At all.
It seems like they're only interested now because they need to have something to show for this pathetically inept investigation, if you can even call it that. Another commented, "I still don't understand at all why they took her word for it and persisted in trying to get Lee to be tested for drugs when it was clear many weeks ago that she was lying. Why did they turn to bullying him? A 19-hour interrogation that even his lawyer came out and said was confrontational. It must have been horrific for his lawyer to say that. And to demand a polygraph test? He knew he wasn't going to be believed by anyone. Then the media came out with this sleeping pill straw story. The police and the media conspired to set up a lynch mob, and netizens delivered.
Yeah, literally,
Police corruption at its finest.
At its finest, bro.
That's what the comment reads. For Korean celebrities, even being questioned and cooperating with the police, which are typically seen as traits of a good civilian, someone who is willing to talk to the police and let them investigate, they get treated like criminals instead.
Yeah,
it just ruins their reputation.
Hey, bro. Unless it's my family involved or a tribe member, bro, I'm never willing to talk to the police. You got me? I don't even care if it's a random person that gets hurt. Okay, that's mad. That's fucked up. The way I see it is that random person wouldn't help me. There have been too many times where I've needed help from people and nobody has come at all. So Do I want to perpetuate that though? But I know that person wouldn't help me, bro. Like, come on, like.
That's what the comment reads. For Korean celebrities, even being questioned and cooperating with the police, which are typically seen as traits of a good civilian,
right?
Someone who is willing to talk to the police and let them investigate, they get treated like criminals instead. It just ruins their reputation regardless of if they actually committed a crime or not.
Like, why does that happen?
My dad said it actually went so beyond that. I was talking to my parents about it, and my dad was saying the clips of him being brought in to be questioned were played over and over and over again on all the news networks, nonstop. My dad's a huge news watcher, just nonstop. No news would develop, and they would just play that clip over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Every day, nonstop.
Why?
He wasn't even guilty, and he was being paraded around like some sort of criminal, like a circus criminal. Even Samuel, the guy that reported Nami to the police alongside SJ, said he regretted getting the police involved. He thought, first of all, I didn't even know celebrities were involved. I mean, involved, quote, involved. He thought he was just reporting Nami. And he said that he was so shocked because the person who did so many drugs and spread drugs to others is sitting right there. But they're like going after celebrities who didn't do anything. They're just bombarding them. It's like the criminal's sitting right in front of you. What are you talking about?
They're chasing somebody else.
One netizen stated, someone who had a long life ahead of them died, and that blood is on a lot of people's hands.
Facts.
The blackmailers, the police, the press, and us, the public. Who do you believe is the most at fault? The two women that blackmailed him and lit the torch?
All
or
y'all.
The police that grabbed that torch from them and lit Lee's house on fire? Or the press that made sure that the whole world saw Lee's burning house every second of every day? Or the netizens that came to throw gasoline into the house from outside? And a big trigger point was the timing of all the leaked phone calls being released. The leaked phone call where he tells his mistress he likes her. I mean, the timing of that to overshadow his negative test results.
It's bad.
It's just really bizarre.
Yeah,
and also,
it's
what
just
was the purpose?
bad.
It's a private conversation between two parties, which, yeah, it's not the best look for him, but it's not illegal.
Yeah, it ain't got nothing to do with the current situation.
So why is that worthy of a leak? Why is that more newsworthy? Netizens have stated at the very, very least, this is personality murder, reputation murder.
Yeah.
One netizen asked, is Korea one of those hyper anti-drug countries? Is that why? And someone responded, yeah, but don't worry. They make up for it by being the country with the highest alcohol consumption in the world. G-Dragon posted a black screen with a white chrysanthemum on the day of Lee's funeral. He did not explicitly state why, but it's widely known in Korea that white chrysanthemums are reserved for mourning and grief. One netizen commented, regardless of what you think of G-Dragon can relate with Lee. I mean, he was left alone by the company that helped raise him to the top. Silence amongst industry friends, police pushing a hidden agenda, YouTubers, TikTokers, all going nuts, analyzing his speech patterns, his walks, his body language, preparing him up as some sort of grand lamb sacrifice alongside poor Lee Sun Kyun. And worst of all, they'll do it again to someone else sooner or later. In one of Lee's most iconic shows that he was in, it's called My Mister, there's a famous line in the ending scene where Lee goes, Tian, are you at peace now? What are your thoughts on this case? Let me know in the comments. I will see you guys on Sunday for the next episode. Stay safe. Bye.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That story makes me a little bit emotional because this was a family man, bro. I know he made a mistake cheating on his wife. Massive mistake. And I'm not saying that, you know, it's okay or anything. No, it was wrong. But did he deserve to die? Did he deserve to get attacked like this? I gotta realize, if something happens and I lose my entire channel right now, I don't know what I would do. I'd actually be very, very depressed and devastated. And I'm sitting at 30K. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that that's small, but we both know that that's not a big number or anything like that. When I reach a large number, my investment into this YouTube channel, this career of mine, will have increased 30-fold. So if something happens, rumors get spread, and the public decides that I'm the bad guy when really I'm the innocent one, and the result is me losing my YouTube channel, I don't know what I would do, bro. I really don't. And the same people talking about some we messed up are the same people that'll do that shit to another person, bro. And they gonna do the same thing to another person then say, oh, we messed up. Hey, this person needs to die. Oh, we messed up. Like, I don't, whatever, bro. Bro, why it seem like folks do not give a fuck about women, bro? Rest in peace, Lee, bro. He didn't deserve this at all. How you gonna go to the police, submit your drug test 3 times, come back negative all 3 times, and the police say, nah, I think he still did drugs. I ain't a police officer, so maybe the procedures is a little different than what we know. Alright, tribe, I love y'all. Drink your water, stay safe. You look good. Very, very happy to have you here. Thank you for pulling up and watching this with me. These shits be crazy. Enough for me. No, seriously, enough for me. It's been your boy Chabu, and in case I don't see you, just in case. Good day, good afternoon, good evening. Good night. Good night, tribe. Good night.
Yeah, it's the end. Leave a like and share it to your friends and your kin. When I post a video, I'm gonna need y'all to attend. Thank you for the view, but I ain't done with you. 2023, I'm about to be Jordan with the flu. Yeah, join the tribe. Yeah, join the tribe. I'm gonna need y'all to subscribe.